Chapter 1283. Genius 1 second. Remember love goes/little? I'll bring you a wonderful novel to read. Okay, I'll continue to cultivate. Be careful. Night Sorrow hung up the call. Night Sorrow let out a breath and went to the lakeside house. His heart was in a mess. Strength. What he lacked was strength. There were some things that he had to take responsibility for. After all, the war between the Qing Emperor and the dynasty was because of him. Night Sorrow opened a pot of wine and drank while enjoying the breeze. His strength had increased rapidly in the past 4 years. The cultivation of his main attribute, Void, was already at the peak of 6-star King. His space-time willpower was also at the peak of 4-star. He could advance at any time, but it required time and consolidation. At this time, Xueshi came behind Night Sorrow and gently hugged Night Sorrow. No one wanted things to be like this. It will pass. I know, Xueshi. When I'm done, marry me. Night Sorrow turned around and said to Xueshi. Xueshi's eyes were filled with tears. Then she bit her lips and nodded. She didn't agree in the past because she felt that the beginning of her relationship with Night Sorrow was too bad. There was no foundation for feelings. However, after so many years, she knew that Night Sorrow was serious. So, when Night Sorrow proposed again, her heart collapsed. Please go to read this book? Night Sorrow didn't stay in the city in the sky. He went directly to the bamboo forest peak in the Medicine Valley and lived an ordinary life again. In the second month after Night Sorrow's return, the space-time willpower leveled up, which meant that Night Sorrow's body and innate attributes had both reached the level of a 5-star sovereign. This caused Night Sorrow's strength to increase once again. All the disciples of the Medicine Valley knew that the core pillar of the Medicine Valley, the realm master of the 9 domains, Night Sorrow, was at the bamboo forest peak behind the Taishan Peak. However, no one could disturb him. The Medicine Valley had already sealed off the Taishan Peak. Other than the elders, no one could enter. An ordinary axe accompanied Night Sorrow. Every day he would chop firewood. When he had time, he would deduce the array formation. It was the same for his clone in the heaven-sealing Great Hall. In the 4th month, Night Sorrow's will of nothingness finally evolved, breaking through to 70%. Night Sorrow roared to the sky. His voice echoed in the Medicine Valley. After years of suppression, he finally took the step forward and entered the level of Senior King. King's path was like a staircase, and every step forward was not easy. Night Sorrow could now move forward rapidly because of the help of Samsara Palace. In addition, Night Sorrow also knew that Samsara Palace had given him the greatest display of will. Night Sorrow's current achievements were also funded by elixirs. Night Sorrow had taken Thunder Spirit Elixir, and Night Sorrow often took Spirit Enlightenment Elixir to increase his power of understanding. Night Sorrow's roar stunned the people in the Medicine Valley. They did not know what was going on, but the pressure in the roar made everyone unable to stand up. Monsters and animals all crawled on the ground. After the roar, Night Sorrow breathed a sigh of relief. A 7-star king. Night Sorrow felt that the monarch could not kill him even if he wanted to. He had the attribute of nothingness, which suppressed all other attributes, including will and rules. As for speed, the will of time and space was best at speed. Night Sorrow's original body did not plan to come out of seclusion. He wanted to continue. In the battle that the Qing Emperor's dynasty was facing, even Senior King could not do much. Of course, he was not an ordinary Senior King now. Not long after, Gong Xian and the others came over. I'm going to go back to my house. Night Sorrow was a little embarrassed because his roar had startled many people. Then Night Sorrow said that he had some breakthroughs. Gong Xian and the others naturally congratulated Night Sorrow because it was not easy for Night Sorrow to make a breakthrough at his level. Night Sorrow did not continue to stay in the Medicine Valley. He returned to the city in the sky. He usually sat on the wooden boat by the lake and taught his children how to cultivate. Yi Yujun and Yi Qingyan were also very hardworking in their cultivation. They knew that it was not easy for their father. Jun Xuanji often came to report the situation to Yishang. Now, the situation was very stable. The various factions only knew that something had happened to the Azure the Arch and that he was injured, but they did not know the details. The Azure the Arch Empire had also gained sandalwood, who was extremely powerful. Thus, they were all very cautious. Night Sorrow felt more at ease now that the situation was stable. It was time for him to step up. Night Sorrow was resting by the lake when Jun Xuanji came to tell Night Sorrow that Sandalwood was in the Nine Chong Pagoda and asked Night Sorrow to go back. Night Sorrow arrived at Chia City and took the teleportation portal to the Nine Chong Pagoda. He saw Sandalwood in the hall. "Junior brother, the situation is a little chaotic now. The Qing Emperor's dynasty is not as safe as your world. So, I think it's more appropriate to send Master to your world," Sandalwood said to Night Sorrow. "Okay." Night Sorrow nodded. "Not bad. You are now a high-level king." "Master was right," Sandalwood said with a smile when she saw Night Sorrow's cultivation increase again. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood then went to the Azure Sky Pavilion. Sandalwood told the Qing Emperor her idea. "No, Master can't move. Although we have cleaned up the spies in the Qing Emperor's dynasty, there will be more. Once someone notices Master's condition, the situation will not be stable. Sandalwood, you need time to refine the soul cultivation liquid and cultivate that secret art." The Qing Emperor shook his head. "I have a teleportation portal disc. I can teleport there instantly without being discovered. Master, you are safe. Only then can senior brother cultivate in peace," Night Sorrow said. "Master, please listen to us this once," Sandalwood said. "Your Majesty, we will listen to Lord Blood Emperor," Xian Daozi said. Sandalwood was no longer Her Highness. She was the second most powerful person in the Qing Emperor's dynasty, Blood Emperor. "Yes, Your Majesty. Please go," Summer City said. The Qing Emperor nodded. He had no combat power now, so there was no point in staying. To avoid being discovered, Night Sorrow used a teleportation portal disc to send the Qing Emperor to the Nine Chong building and then to Chia City. "Not bad. The formation is complete. You are good." The Qing Emperor looked at the shining ice dragon on the other side of the teleportation portal and nodded in satisfaction. He was very satisfied that his disciple's cultivation had improved. "I will not go to your world. I will stay here. Xian Daozi, Summer City, both of you go back. Sandalwood needs people by her side. Night Sorrow will be enough to accompany me," the Qing Emperor said. "Let me accompany your Majesty." Xian Daozi did not want to leave. "Why are you so talkative? My cultivation is destroyed, but I still have my realm and my will. Do you think King can threaten me? Hurry up and go back." The Qing Emperor glared at Xian Daozi. "Your Majesty, Night Sorrow, I will leave His Majesty to you." Xian Daozi bowed to Night Sorrow. "Uncle Xian Daozi, don't worry. I will take good care of Master. This is all my fault. I will find a way to make up for it," Night Sorrow said. "Your Majesty, that is not what Xian Daozi meant. We will go back." Xian Daozi shook his head. Chapter 1284. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? I'll bring you a wonderful novel to read. "Master, I'm sorry," Night Sorrow said embarrassedly. "You're being silly again." Qing Emperor patted Night Sorrow's shoulder and shook his head. "Master, I'm not far from the monarch realm. As long as there's a glimmer of hope, I'll make you become the powerful Qing Emperor again," Night Sorrow exhaled and said. "I believe you because you're Night Sorrow. You can do whatever you want." Qing Emperor nodded. Yi Shang brought the Azure Supreme the Arch to a small building by the lake. He wanted to arrange for a maidservant but was rejected by the Azure Supreme the Arch. "Why do you need a maid? There are maids in the Azure Sky Pavilion? You can do everything by yourself." This was the Azure Emperor's words. Night Sorrow took out the life essence and said, "Master, I don't know how you can fully recover. This is the life essence. I believe it will help you." "Alright, I'll take it. Actually, it's not as serious as you think. It's just that the destructive energy invaded my body, destroying my dantian and meridians. My vitality and cultivation level are still intact," the Lotus Emperor said. "You're looking for treasures that can heal your dantian and meridians, right?" Night Sorrow asked. "Poison. I was poisoned. It's the evil dragon's venom. It's hard to cure. You don't have to worry about it," Qing Emperor said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew what was going on. He would pay more attention to the situation in the future. Night Sorrow stayed with Qing Emperor in the lakeside house. They drank tea, chatted, and taught Yi Yujun and Yi Qingyan how to cultivate. Qing Emperor also taught them from time to time. Although he had lost his cultivation, his comprehension and cultivation level were still at the level of a giant. One word of advice from him was enough for them to benefit. Please read this book. I have a lot of grandsons, but I've never given any pointers to any of them. These two kids are pretty good. Calling them grandmaster makes me feel good. After giving some pointers to Yi Yujun and Yi Qingyan, Qing Emperor returned to Night Sorrow, who was making tea. I've only recently had the time to guide them in their cultivation. I've always been busy. Night Sorrow looked at his son and daughter, his heart filled with regret. You should speed up your cultivation, and your doppelganger should relax. You can study the formation when you have time. If you don't listen to me, I won't teach you the yellow dragon tiger formation, Qing Emperor said. Disciple understands. Night Sorrow nodded. When there was nothing to do, Night Sorrow would take Qing Emperor for a walk. Originally, Qing Emperor's condition was not very good, but with the life spirit fluid, there was no problem for him to maintain his condition. Although his doppelganger was relaxing, Night Sorrow's cultivation was improving by leaps and bounds. After a cultivator broke through, their strength would increase rapidly. Qing Emperor was worried that Night Sorrow's foundation would not be stable, so he took the gentleman's scripture and told Night Sorrow to read it every day. The gentleman's scripture was written by Qing Emperor. It contains some insights on the various states of life, as well as some principles and standards of conduct. When there was a family banquet, Night Sorrow would also take Qing Emperor to attend it. This time, after attending Night Sorrow's family banquet, Qing Emperor was a little unhappy. Master, what's wrong? Night Sorrow asked. Gu family, you've done a good job. I'm not as good as you. Actually, you also have a wife. It's just that we have some conflicts, Qing Emperor said. Why haven't I heard Master mention it before? Night Sorrow asked in surprise. Then, Qing Emperor told Night Sorrow something that many people did not know. Qing Emperor's wife was the mother of Qing Lin and Qing Luan. She was also a powerful figure. In order to pursue the pinnacle of Tao, she had some differences with Qing Emperor. In the end, she left the Qing Emperor's dynasty. But where is Master's wife now? Night Sorrow asked. A long time ago, someone saw her in Shenwu Great World. After that, there was no news of her. She hated me because she wanted me to pass on my position to Qing Lin and travel the world with her. But you know the truth. Your senior brother Qing Lin and senior sister Qing Luan could not support the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Although Datura and the Red Emperor would not kill them, the Qing Emperor's dynasty would be destroyed, Qing Emperor said in a low voice. Master's wife will understand you one day, Night Sorrow said. He did not know how to persuade him. I've been a good man, a good emperor, and a good father. As a master, I think I'm good too. The only thing I haven't done is be a good husband. Actually, I miss her a lot. I don't know if she's living well now. Qing Emperor sighed. Night Sorrow did not know what to say. This was a relationship problem of the older generation. He did not know what to say. However, after Night Sorrow's family banquet, Qing Emperor seemed to have let go of something and became relaxed every day. Master, you seem to be in a good mood recently. Night Sorrow asked with a smile. It's okay. I've let go of some things. Master's wife said that if I didn't listen to her, she would definitely surpass me. Now that I've lost, I'll admit defeat if we meet again, Qing Emperor said with a smile. Master, there's nothing wrong with admitting defeat. We're all family, Night Sorrow said. Mentality. Your mentality and comprehension are both ahead of Master, the Azure Emperor said. Master, you're joking? Night Sorrow shook his head. Time passed peacefully. The Azure Supreme the Arch was very comfortable, especially since Yi Qingyan knew how to make him happy. The Azure Supreme the Arch also guided her in her cultivation every day. Night Sorrow would sometimes bring Qing Emperor to Chen Chen's tea house to drink tea. Chen Chen loved tea and Qing Emperor was also an expert in this field. Night Sorrow was the happiest when Qing Emperor could live a happy life. Forever free to look at small percentum say. June 3rd. Xuanji often sent news. The war was still going on, but it was less intense now. Night Sorrow knew that one of the celestial sect's heaven pillar-level puppets had been destroyed by Qing Emperor, and Sandalwood had also heavily injured one. The celestial sect's strength had also been greatly reduced. Now that they did not know the exact situation of Qing Emperor, and the Qing Emperor's dynasty had produced such a powerful figure like Sandalwood, no one dared to go too far. Previously, the Azure Emperor's temper wasn't too good, and he would kill anyone who offended him. Needless to say, Sandalwood was even more so. 5 million years ago, she was already known for her prowess in battle and killing. Now that she had become a major figure, if one went overboard, the consequences would be dire. Because of fear, Sandalwood did not dare to go too far. Therefore, whenever Sandalwood had time, he would cultivate in the space acceleration magic treasure given to him by Qing Emperor. Whether it was the soul cultivation liquid or the scripture of heavenly mandate, they were all ways to improve his strength quickly. Night Sorrow was also collecting ancient books to find a way to solve the problem of Qing Emperor. Qing Emperor was a powerful figure and could not repair his dantian and veins. The soul cultivation liquid could help Father Gu, but it could not help Qing Emperor. The other thing was poison. That was the most fatal. Now Yi Shang was looking for clues. No matter what price he had to pay, he had to help the Azure Supreme the Arch recover. Chapter 1285. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little? I'll bring you a wonderful novel to read. Night Sorrow had read a lot of ancient books and understood a little about Qing Emperor's situation. 2 materials were needed to solve the problem. One was Tao Illumination, and the other was White Tiger Blood. Tao Illumination was a natural treasure that was born when a world was first created. Needless to say, White Tiger Blood was a demonic beast on the same level as dragons. Its combat strength was extremely terrifying. However, Night Sorrow knew that it would be easy to solve the problem with a clue. This was the direction. Night Sorrow was in a good mood as he walked out of the city lord's mansion. "What made you so happy?" Qing Emperor asked when he saw Night Sorrow arrive at the lakeside house. "I found out something." "How have you been feeling recently, Master?" Night Sorrow asked. "Much better. The venomous centipede dragon was tormenting me for a while. The life spirit fluid is very effective. Although it can't completely solve the problem, at least the venomous centipede dragon is no longer wreaking havoc in my body. My situation is much better," Qing Emperor said as he stretched out his arms. "That's good. Master, don't worry. I'll slowly think of a way." "Master, please trust me this once," Night Sorrow said as he helped Qing Emperor sit down. "Night Sorrow, I accepted you as my disciple because I have high hopes for you. I trust you. I feel that you are resilient and can do anything well. Although you haven't been under my tutelage for long, I am very satisfied with everything you have done. Really? Come, let's drink a few cups," Qing Emperor said. "Master, can you drink less?" Night Sorrow said. "Drinking? You're embarrassing yourself." At this time, a woman wearing a loose robe appeared and glared at Qing Emperor. "Yufei, you're here. Am I in a sorry state right now?" Qing Emperor had a trace of awkwardness on his face. "No. Although he doesn't have a cultivation base, his vitality isn't bad. He's still the same Qing Shangjuan," the woman said. "That's good." "Night Sorrow, this is my wife, Misty Rain," Qing Emperor said. Night Sorrow bowed and said, "Mistress, it's my fault for causing Master to suffer. However, I will definitely think of a way to help Master recover." "It's none of your business. Qing Shangjuan, are you a newbie in the Jianghu?" Heavenly Monarch Yufei looked at the Azure the Arch and said, "What's the big deal? How can a man's shoes not get wet when he walks by the river? I lost this time, but I didn't die. I'll fight again in the future," the Qing Emperor said as he tidied up his robe. "Shameful. Was it that old thing Ling Tian? Gather everyone. We'll charge over and kill him." Misty Rain's face was filled with killing intent. "There's no rush. It's not important. I'm very happy that you're back. This injury was worth it," the Qing Emperor said. "Master, Mistress, I'll leave you to it. I have something else to do," Night Sorrow bowed and said. Night Sorrow could tell that the Qing Emperor and his wife had a lot to talk about. It wasn't appropriate for him to stay. Translator, Nyoibo Studio Editor, Nyoibo Studio. Night Sorrow returned home to the city in the sky. He was very happy because he knew that the Qing Emperor cared a lot about Misty Rain. Misty Rain also cared a lot about the Qing Emperor. The Qing Emperor invited Misty Rain into the lakeside pavilion. You won't leave again, right? You're half dead. How can I leave? I left because I didn't have to worry. I went to the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Was that the first commander of the dynasty? Can't you care more about your son and daughter? Monarch Yufei said. We have different opinions on this. You were unhappy because I cared about sandalwood, but I have a different opinion. I didn't say it before because I thought you could see through it. I'll tell you today. Qinglin, Qingwan, and Qingshan are good, but they're not great talents. If they sit in positions they shouldn't be in, they'll die. They won't be able to sit still and take responsibility. As a father, I just want them to live a peaceful life. I don't ask for much. I just want them to be alive, the Qing Emperor said sincerely. In the past, I thought that opportunities were very important. You had to give your children opportunities. Now, it seems like you were right because Qinglin and Qingwan are doing well. Sandalwood didn't disappoint you either. Heavenly Monarch Yufei nodded. It's rare that you approve of sandalwood. Qinglin and Qingwan don't need to have great achievements. They just need to be by my side when I want to see them. Sandalwood and Night Sorrow are different. They're great talents, real great talents. The Qing Emperor's voice was a little loud when he talked about his disciples. Sandalwood is very capable and has a good temperament. He knows that I've always had opinions about him and even disliked him, but he's always been respectful to me. I approve of him. But that little guy just now, you arranged the first commander of the empire for a 7-star king with his cultivation level. How can Qinglin and Qingwan endure this? Their son and daughter are already concerned about their reputation. Where is their reputation now? Misty Rain said. Yufei, there are no outsiders here. I'll tell you the truth. Night Sorrow is the one I think the most highly of, even more so than Sandalwood. You should have seen Qinglin and Qingwan when you went back. Did they have any dissatisfaction with Night Sorrow? They were now very respectful towards Yishang because of his ability. Because Yishang could do things that they couldn't. Yishang had a good temperament, was kind and benevolent. He cultivated his virtue and had a very mellow body of merit. He wasn't even 200 years old and was a high-level sovereign king. Wasn't this enough? I hope you can understand him better before you come to a conclusion. The Qing Emperor said a lot in one breath when he talked about Night Sorrow. His body couldn't take it anymore and started coughing. Why are you so agitated? I'll understand. Misty Rain glared at the Qing Emperor. Mother, what do you want to understand? I'll tell you. Qinglin and Qingwan also came here. Night Sorrow. When I say that your father is biased, he talks about Night Sorrow. Qingwan, tell him. Misty Rain looked at her daughter and said, all right. In the beginning, I also felt unconvinced because he's just a grassroot in an aboriginal world. But that's not the case. I have the right to speak about his matters. Qingwan said some things about Night Sorrow. She knew a lot because she had investigated carefully before. You're not exaggerating? Misty Rain asked doubtfully. Sister really isn't exaggerating. Mother, actually, you should admire father on this point. He took in 2 disciples and both of them are outstanding. They're much stronger than us brothers. Qinglin said. Changed, you've all changed. Misty Rain looked at her children and said, Mother, it's true that people have pursuits, but there are some things that you have to acknowledge. Junior Brother Knight is far above us in terms of intelligence and strategy. The only thing he lacks is his cultivation. He was able to fight a 5-star king when he was a 2-star king. He has already proven his ability. Now, he's just lacking some time. Qingwan said. You're still speaking up for him. Don't you know that your father is like this today because of him? Qinglin, tell me, aren't you angry? Yufei looked at her son. She just wanted to seek justice for her children. Chapter 1286. Genius remembers love in 1 second / small? I'll bring you a wonderful novel to read. Everything has changed. Misty Rain's tone was much calmer. Yufei, I told Night Sorrow that when I see you again, I'll admit defeat. Now I've lost. Qing Emperor said. Qing Shangjuan, how can I endure your words? In fact, you've won because my daughter and son have a demeanor I didn't expect under your influence. Misty Rain said. Mother, please come back. The pursuit of the pinnacle of Tao is the same everywhere. We all miss you. Qing Lin bowed and said, Bastard, do you think that Mother doesn't care about you anymore and doesn't want to come back? Mother went to the alternate dimension to explore and was trapped inside. She waited for a cycle and waited for millions of years before coming out. Yufei glared at Qing Lin because she felt that her son's words meant that she didn't miss her children. That's great. Father, Mother, shall we go back? Qing Wan said happily. No, there's only one powerful Qing Emperor in the world of samsara. There's no disabled old man. You can go back. Night Sorrow can take care of Father. Qing Emperor didn't want to go back. Go back. Mother is here. If something happens to the Empire and Sandalwood can't handle it, send a message. Yufei said. Qing Lin and Qing Wan left. Misty Rain came back to accompany Qing Emperor. They were very relieved. Originally, they were very relieved when Night Sorrow was here. This defender formation is very advanced. Even a Heaven Master would have to spend a lot of effort to break it. After Qing Lin and Qing Wan left, Yufei looked back at Chiye City and said, It's Night Sorrow's masterpiece. It's an advanced Heavenly Master-level ice-sealing illusionary killing formation with the Ice Dragon skeleton as the core. Qing Emperor said with a smile. He was very sure about Night Sorrow's achievements in Formation Dao. Speaking of your disciple, you're so energetic. Misty Rain glared at Qing Emperor. $, hey Grandmaster, I'm here. Have a taste of the steamed fish I just learned. Yi Qingyan ran over with a food box. Good. Very good. Did you bring wine? Qing Emperor asked with a smile. Father didn't let me bring wine for you, Grandmaster. You only like the 100 herbs wine made by my mother. I stole this wine. Yi Qingyan took out a jar of wine. Qing Shangjuan, I really admire you. You've become like this now? Yufei couldn't believe her eyes. Very good. Qingyan, this is your Grand Preceptor's wife, Emperor Qing introduced. Greetings, Grand Preceptor's wife. You're so beautiful. Yi Qingyan smiled and greeted her. You really know how to talk. Not bad. Yufei nodded. She quite liked Yi Qingyan, who was full of spirit. Grandmaster, Grandmaster's wife, have a taste. Grandmaster, you said the fish you caught was delicious, but I don't know how to fish. I've been fishing for the whole morning, but I'm afraid my father will see. Yi Qingyan put down the chopsticks. Fishing? Why are you afraid your father will see? Yufei was puzzled. My father doesn't care about these things, but he doesn't like to kill. He doesn't like to kill for no reason, even if it's a fish. I just don't want him to be unhappy. Yi Qingyan said. Senior King doesn't kill? What kind of joke is this? Yufei was stunned. It's not that he doesn't kill. My father said that he has killed thousands, if not tens of thousands, but it's not his intention. Everything has a spirit and has the right to live in this world. Yi Qingyan said. Go back. Remember to come back tomorrow to cultivate. Grandmaster will teach you swordsmanship. Qing Emperor nodded at Yi Qingyan. As soon as Yi Qingyan left, Yi Yujun also came with wine. Grandmaster, I was caught stealing wine. Mother and concubine found out. They said it's fine if you don't drink too much, but don't let my father find out. Grandmaster, I'm leaving. Concubine Xueshi is too cruel. If I don't meet her requirements, she'll really beat me. Yi Yujun left after leaving the wine behind. Qing Emperor, you're really something. Is this how you teach other people's children? Misty Rain stared at Qing Emperor. What's wrong with that? You're simple, kind, and filial. While respecting your father, you secretly let me, an old cripple, live a better life. The Lotus Emperor laughed and said. Yufei closed her eyes and thought for a while. Maybe this is life. Besides, you're not an old cripple. You'll get better. Knight Sorrow came to greet them every day. He accompanied Qing Emperor and Yu Fei to drink a pot of tea before going to do his own things. Suppressed? Qing Emperor, what else are you hiding from me? I checked him. Why was I suppressed? A very strong suppression? Yu Fei watched Knight Sorrow leave again and asked Qing Emperor. Yu Fei, this is Knight Sorrow's secret. Even if we're husband and wife, I don't want to say it unless it's necessary. Not only does he have a virtuous body, but he also has a supreme attribute. I've seen it. According to the current development of the 9 regions world, Knight Sorrow's virtue will become more and more profound. In the future, he'll become the virtuous saint. Qing Emperor said, Shangjuan, you've won. You've really won. The disciples you support are all worth supporting and nurturing. No matter if it's temperament or potential, they're indeed beyond our children's reach. Misty Rain said, Then you should be nicer to them. Every time they come to greet you, you only nod and don't say a word. Qing Emperor said, I know. Are you bored? Why don't we go out and walk around? I'll accompany you if you want to drink wine or tea. Yu Fei nodded. Looking at Qing Emperor who wasn't in a good state, her heart suddenly ached. Because when she wasn't around, Qing Emperor wasn't living very well either. That's it. This place isn't bad either. Yu Fei, others don't know, but you should know that I don't have many days left. I'm very satisfied to be able to see you in my last moments. Qing Emperor said, I'll think of a way. Ming Dao, White Tiger Blood. I've already arranged for people to search for Ming Dao. It's just that this White Tiger Blood is too difficult. Yu Fei said, Don't think too much. This might be fate. Qing Emperor looked at Yu Fei and said, The White Tiger is a divine beast. It has only appeared in the constellation world, and that's a forbidden area. The powerhouses can't enter. If others enter, they'll die. Yu Fei exhaled and said, Qing Emperor's injuries couldn't be seen by others, but he could feel it. After looking at the ancient records again, Knight Sorrow went to the lakeside building. He knew that Misty Rain had disrespected him last time, but he didn't mind because she was his master's wife. Master, your body isn't well. Some pills won't be of much help to you. These are the Detoxification Pearl and the Longevity Limitless Pill. Perhaps they'll be of help to you. Knight Sorrow took out the Detoxification Pearl and the Longevity Limitless Pill. Isn't the Detoxification Pearl Qingyin's? Why did you bring it here? She often goes out to train. She needs it, Qing Emperor said. Chapter 1287. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second/Small? Here's a wonderful novel for you to read. The website is clean and has few advertisements. I love this kind of website the most. You must give it a good review. Knight Sorrow had found the ancient records and found that the evil dragon's venomous centipede would constantly erode people's vitality. Therefore, he took the Detoxification Pearl that Shiyu had given to Yi Qingyan and prepared the Longevity Limitless Elixir. Since you're so considerate, I'll give it a try. Don't delay your cultivation because of me, the Azure Emperor said. Hey, Master. You can decide on the heavenly mandate scripture yourself, Knight Sorrow said. Qing Emperor looked at Knight Sorrow for a moment and nodded. Okay, you can go back now. Shangjuan, hurry up and see if it has any effect. If it can extend your lifespan by 10,000 years, there will be many more opportunities, Misty Rain said as she watched Knight Sorrow leave. Qing Emperor didn't have any energy himself, so Yu Fei helped him to draw the energy of the Detoxification Pearl into his body. After the treatment, Qing Emperor nodded. The effect is not bad. It can suppress the toxicity if I keep it with me in the future. After putting away the Detoxification Pearl, Qing Emperor also ate the Longevity Limitless Elixir. Then he was stunned. How is it? Yu Fei asked anxiously. The Longevity Limitless Elixir is very powerful. It actually restored part of my veins. According to this trend, I might be able to last 10,000 years, Qing Emperor said as he felt his body. Good, very good. Then I feel more at ease. Yu Fei breathed a sigh of relief. There's something else I need to tell you. The most powerful thing in the Celestial Sect is the Heaven Pillar puppet. Actually, I had a chance to escape, but Xia Cheng and Xian Daozi couldn't. Back when Niu Er died, I didn't want to see my old friend die in front of me, so I blocked 2 of Xian Daozi's saber strikes for him. The puppet has a destructive spell formation, and its destructive power is incredibly powerful. Combined with the wretch dragon's venomous centipede, it harvests life force. And Qing Emperor said. Very sinister. Yu Fei's words were filled with anger. If it were any other Sky Master, they would have died on the spot. I was able to come back because Night Sorrow taught me a set of heaven-defying methods, the true scripture of heavenly mandate, Qing Emperor said. Is it the true scripture of heavenly mandate that he mentioned just now? Yu Fei asked. That's right. The heavenly mandate scripture can lock in one's own energy and prevent it from leaking out. Therefore, even if I am severely injured, the destructive energy and the evil dragon venomous centipede cannot kill me on the spot. This is because I have already cultivated the leakless real body. He just mentioned to me that I can decide to teach it to you, Qing Emperor said. The leakless true body is the only way to restrain the tribulation of wind and fire. Qing Shangjuan, you're really lucky. However, it's not suitable for me to learn it. After all, you're master and disciple. I'm not qualified to learn it. Yu Fei shook her head. Since he mentioned it, it means that he doesn't mind. I think it's okay, Qing Emperor said. Shangjuan, you cultivate the path of noble. You cultivate your body, morality, and heart. Naturally, you won't do things that don't involve you. You're master and disciple. There's nothing wrong with you learning it. If I learn it, I'll ruin your reputation. We'll talk about it when it's really necessary, Misty Rain said. Okay, then I'll listen to you. Qing Emperor knew that Yu Fei couldn't bring herself to do this because she was hostile to Night Sorrow in the beginning. Your disciple is really amazing. The body of merit, the supreme attributes, the space-time attributes, the realm lord, the divine artifact of heavenly path, and the leakless real body. What can't he do? Yu Fei stretched out her fingers and counted the heaven-defying aspects of Night Sorrow. Heaven-level alchemy master, armorer, and matrix master. Qing Emperor added a few more. Our children can only be considered outstanding. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood can be considered extraordinary. You're right about this, Yu Fei said. When Night Sorrow came again, Yu Fei asked Night Sorrow to serve tea and placed an incense burner in the pavilion. Night Sorrow understood what was going on. He went forward and bowed to greet her. Then he offered the tea with both hands. Disciple Night Sorrow greets mistress. Good, very good. A few days ago, because Qing Lin and Qing Huan didn't do as well as you in the Qing Emperor's dynasty and didn't have as high a status as you, they ostracized you. This is mistress's fault. It won't happen again in the future. How they are treated in mistress's eyes, you will be treated the same. After drinking the tea, Heavenly Monarch Yu Fei spoke very seriously. This was her recognition of Yi Shang and also a promise. Mistress, you're thinking too much. I will only do my part as a disciple, Night Sorrow said. You're just like your master, so stubborn. Heavenly Monarch Yu Fei muttered. Night Sorrow, have you had any problems with your recent cultivation? Qing Emperor asked. I'm not confused, but I have some enlightenment. I can't continue like this. I feel that my state of mind can't keep up with the pace of my cultivation. Although I can improve my realm with meditation, I've already reached a limit. Next, I plan to train my heart with battle. Doesn't the celestial sect want to fight? I'm going to fight. Night Sorrow said. But your current cultivation is still a little low. Once you meet a ruthless person, you'll easily die. Qing Emperor was a little worried. A few years ago, I always felt that I had lost something, but I couldn't figure it out. After my state of mind couldn't keep up, I thought about it carefully and realized that what I had lost was my sharpness. The sharpness and courage to fight against everything. If I want to suppress the Qing Emperor's dynasty, I can suppress the Qing Emperor's dynasty? This is disrespect. This is looking down on me. I can't tolerate it. So what if I die in battle? If this doppelganger dies, I'll just condense another one and fight again. I'll kill whoever humiliates me. Night Sorrow's eyes were full of fighting spirit. Shang Jun, don't stop the child. I have resources here to replenish the soul. If the child's doppelganger dies, just condense another one. Seeing Night Sorrow's aura, Misty Rain's eyes were full of admiration. Don't stop, don't stop. Night Sorrow, when I first saw you, your eyes were the same as now. You dared to fight against the world, Qing Emperor said. I've always been cautious. Sometimes, it's right to do things according to your heart. I don't cause trouble, but I'm not afraid of trouble. If anyone wants to fight, I'll fight to the end. I, Night Sorrow, am not afraid of anyone. I used to do so, but this time, I've retreated. I'm no longer the same person. Night Sorrow bowed to Qing Emperor and Misty Rain and left. Good. That's domineering. Good job. Misty Rain slammed the table and said, Isn't he good? Ha. Qing Emperor laughed. It was too difficult for his wife to praise someone. Shangjun, you're good at judging people. No one in the world of reincarnation can compare to you in this aspect, Misty Rain said. Back then, I didn't know how to give in and I disappointed you. I didn't do well in this aspect. However, Night Sorrow did well in this aspect. I heard from Lord Yu and Qingyan that as long as their mother and aunt spoke, Night Sorrow would definitely shrink his neck and listen. He would never say a word back, Qing Emperor said. What's so good about him? He doesn't sound like a man with a wife. Yu Fei glared at Qing Emperor. I don't have the ability. Why can't he have the ability? Qing Emperor retorted. But to be honest, his cultivation is a little low. It's still very risky. Misty Rain changed the topic. Chapter 1288. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second Go? This is a wonderful novel for you to read. Read the full text. Why are you at ease? Misty Rain felt that it shouldn't be. She was worried. Qing Emperor was much more at ease. He's not a greenhouse flower. He killed his way out. He stood out from a weak sect and became the realm lord. He experienced a lot. It's not an exaggeration to say that fighting is his forte. Did you see the ice dragon skeleton? He went to the ice dragon realm and got it. Many people went to the ice dragon realm. They were all 7-star kings and 8-star kings. The Qing Emperor's dynasty, the Qing Emperor's guards, and the blood robe guards of the Dark Abyss also went. There were teams from all the major worlds, but only one person got the ice dragon skeleton, and that was Night Sorrow, the Qing Emperor said. To be able to get the ice dragon skeleton, it does require skill and heaven-defying opportunity. Misty Rain nodded. She also knew about the ice dragon realm. This is heaven-defying opportunity? He still has the ice dragon skeleton and the dark ice tiger king skeleton. He just didn't take them out. The Qing Emperor said with a smile. Ice dragon skeleton? The ice dragon skeleton that is used as the core of the matrix and that even the Sky Master Giants can't break? Yu Fei's eyes were full of surprise. Yes, this bastard boy avoided layers of blockades and found the ancestral land of the ice dragon. He stole 2 sets of ice dragon skeleton, but he was caught. The ice dragon asked for one of the ice dragon skeleton as his son. Now, Night Sorrow still has one. This is also the reason why he formed a friendship with the ice dragons and was able to get the true scripture of heavenly mandate, the Qing Emperor said. So many people went to the ice dragon realm, and he was able to gain a lot. Of course, it's inseparable from opportunity and luck. Personal ability is the main factor. Well, I hope he grows up smoothly. Heavenly Monarch Yu Fei nodded. Without saying anything to anyone, Night Sorrow made some preparations and arrived at the 9 grand floors with Lai Kong on his back. As soon as Night Sorrow stepped out of the teleportation portal, he saw Summer City standing in front of the 9-story building's main hall with her hands behind her back. Uncle Xia, I'm back, said Night Sorrow. Battle intent soaring to the heavens, very good. 7-star king, your highness cultivation speed is unprecedented, Summer City said as he looked at Night Sorrow. Is my senior brother still in seclusion? Night Sorrow asked. That's right. Now is a rare moment of respite. He must adapt to his current realm. He succeeded, and he succeeded at the right time. Summer City sighed. If Sandalwood hadn't appeared in time, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Uncle Xia, can you tell me about the celestial sex heaven pillar puppet? Night Sorrow asked. Summer City nodded. Actually, His Majesty wouldn't have been like this. He did it for me and Xian Daozi. His Majesty was injured because he blocked 2 blades for Xian Daozi. Summer City then explained the situation to Night Sorrow. The reason why the celestial sect was a taboo for many people was because of their secret inheritance. The most terrifying of them all was the puppet technique, which was a top-grade puppet technique. The top-grade puppet technique was the same as Night Sorrow's ice dragon formation. It could recognize its master and communicate with its master's mind. The most powerful point was that its defense was extremely strong and difficult to destroy. The Qing Emperor had destroyed one of the Celestial Sect's Heaven Pillar puppets, which was a great loss to the Celestial Sect. I understand, Uncle Xia. If there's anything, just send me a message, Night Sorrow said. Your Highness, where are you going? Summer City asked. I've tolerated them for so long. Do they really think I'm scared? Of course I'm going to kill them, Night Sorrow said. Your Highness is now a high-ranking king. You're not suited for this kind of war. His Majesty and Lord Sandalwood won't agree, Summer City said. Master and Master's wife have agreed. We can't lack the conviction to press forward at any time. During this time, I've been lacking the will to fight and the momentum to press forward, so we must fight. Yi Shan's conviction was very firm. All right, if His Majesty agrees, then we have nothing to say. But you can't do without me. Xian Daozi and Sheng Guanhong appeared. Uncle Xian Daozi, Lord Sage is here. Sit. Night Sorrow invited them into the hall. Your Highness, don't call me Lord Sage. Summer City, Xian Daozi, and I are His Majesty's old brothers. Although we sometimes have conflicts, we're still brothers. You can call Summer City and Uncle Xian Daozi. If you don't mind, you can call me that too, Sheng Guanhong said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow understands. Night Sorrow is young and can't take on much responsibility, but I still have to do what needs to be done. I won't bully the weak, but I'm not afraid of the strong. This time, I plan to go to the Celestial Sect and capture their high-ranking king and kill them. I'll kill everyone I see until they have no more high-ranking king. That bastard hurt my master, so he must pay the price, Night Sorrow said. Well said. Uncle Xia will accompany you. Summer City patted the warblade at his waist. Old man, we haven't fought side by side for many years. Now that we've come together, the feeling of killing is gone. Let's go and try again with your Highness, Sheng Guanhong said to Summer City. Don't worry. I won't leave you outside. If I can survive, you can come back alive. Summer City nodded. His Majesty took a blow for me. This battle can't be without me, Xian Daozi said. J0, no, Senior Brother Sandalwood is still in seclusion. The Qing Emperor's dynasty can't be without someone. Uncles have to stay behind. Night Sorrow shook his head. What's so hard about that? Go to the Qing Emperor's palace and gather the military officials. Have Qing Lin and Qing Wan handle the matters of the Qing Emperor's palace for now. That's enough. You're the first commander of the dynasty. You have the right to say that, Sheng Guanhong said. That's right. Qing Lin and Qing Wan can handle some matters. If something big happens, crush the communication crystal and we'll come back. Xian Daozi nodded in agreement. All right, let's do that. Night Sorrow brought the 3 of them to the Qing Emperor's palace. Then he sent the Qing Emperor's guard to gather the officials, including the commander and the commander of the army. Within an hour, the backbone of the Qing Emperor's dynasty had all arrived. Junior brother, is there anything you need to arrange? Qinglin asked. Yes. Some of what I'm going to say today may be beyond my authority, or it may be inappropriate. Please bear with it. Night Sorrow nodded. Junior brother, just say it. Father is in seclusion, and so is big brother. You and your uncles should be in charge of the dynasty, Qing Wan said to the people from Summer City. Chapter 1289. Junior brother, be careful, Qing Wan said. Thank you for your concern, senior sister. I will. Before His Majesty and Lord Blood Emperor come out of seclusion, the 2 of you will be in charge of dynasty's affairs, Night Sorrow said as he walked out of the hall. We wish you a triumphant return, Your Highness. The The people in the Qing Emperor's palace all saluted Night Sorrow. "Uncles, do you have anything to prepare?" Night Sorrow asked after they left the Qing Emperor's palace. "There's nothing to prepare. We'll be ready to kill at any time. We'll listen to your Highness's command. In the past, your Highness could suppress the Dark Abyss and the Red Emperor's nation. This time, we can also take care of the Celestial Sect," Summer City said. "Bullman, that's an army battle. There's only the 4 of us now." Shengguan Hong looked at Summer City with disdain. "Tactics with more people and arrangements with fewer people. Let's go back to the 9 stories tower first." "I'll make some preparations," Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Originally, Night Sorrow was prepared to fight by himself. Now that Summer City and the others were here, he naturally had to prepare more. After arriving at the 9 stories tower, Night Sorrow took out the spatial copper essence and began to refine the formation discs. After 2 hours, 3 teleportation formation discs were refined. Night Sorrow gave one to each of Summer City. "This is for our retreat after the battle. Before the battle, I'll set up a teleportation formation in a safe area. Activate the formation disc and we'll be able to leave instantly and arrive at the teleportation formation in a safe area." "Your Highness, some cities have methods to interfere with the operation of formations. The teleportation formation disc might not work well," Shengguan Hong reminded Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow smiled. "I've thought about this. Important cities will set up large-scale formations to interfere with the operation of teleportation formations and other formations. However, I also have a way to make this interference ineffective. If the teleportation formation is ineffective, activate this, and it'll cancel out the interference." As he spoke, Night Sorrow took out a few more lockdown formation discs and gave one to each person. "Your Highness, you have a lot of treasures?" Xian Daozi and the others were stunned. "Don't worry, there's more. This formation disc is an illusion formation disc. Once it's activated, others won't be able to see us if they don't notice us. Everyone should keep this as a backup. I don't know if it'll come in handy. In addition, this is the most crucial one. It's a life-saving formation disc called the Sky Ceiling Illusion Formation. If we encounter a strong enemy and can't handle it, we can activate this formation disc and throw it out. Then, we can activate the teleportation formation disc and run away." Yishang took out 3 of the highest grade array discs he had refined, the Sky Ceiling Illusionary Killing Array, and handed them to Xia Cheng's trio. "Your subordinate knows why the Dark Abyss and the Red Emperor's nation lost so miserably. Your Highness's arrangements are foolproof," Xian Daozi said as he fiddled with the disc. "Nothing is absolute. Anything can happen, so it's only right to have a backup plan. These 3 bottles are detoxification pills. If the situation is really bad, then listen to my signal. If I want to poison you, you'll have to take the antidote first. Although it's a bit unscrupulous, this is war. All means are for victory. Against people like the Celestial Sect, I don't care about the curses of others." Night Sorrow gave the soul-extinguishing smoke detoxification pills to Summer City's trio. "Old man, Xian Daozi, the battle hasn't even started yet. Why am I so excited?" Shengguan Hong said as he shook his neck. "The Celestial Sect will wait for our revenge." Summer City's eyes shone with a cold light. "Also, I want to emphasize that if you 3 uncles come with me, then you have to fight according to the agreed tactics. If you're not harmonious and united, something will happen," Night Sorrow reminded the 3 of them. "No problem. If you want to massacre the city, we'll massacre the city. If you want to fight and run, we'll follow behind you," Xian Daozi said. "Don't massacre the city. Kill the important people and rob cultivation resources. In other words, rob the city lord's mansion. Fight one battle and change the battlefield. Make them tired and run for their lives. They can't afford it." Night Sorrow explained his plan. It was the tactic he was best at because he had done it many times before. Then, the 4 of them set off. Night Sorrow also brought Ice Qilin. After a few teleportations, the 4 of them entered the Celestial Sect's territory. Night Sorrow took out a map and marked the Celestial Sect's territory with a number. "Uncles, let's play big. The Celestial Sect's most important cities are Celestial City and Peerless City. Celestial City isn't as big as Peerless City, but it's the Celestial Sect's mountain gate and origin. This place can't be taken without a powerhouse. Let's go take care of their real resource and cultural center, Peerless City. Night Sorrow pointed on the map. Okay. Summer City's 3 people nodded. Uncles, you're all sovereigns. It's more difficult to sneak in after entering the city. We have to fight as fast as we can. We'll teleport over and start killing. Break the teleportation array, then rush to the City Lord's mansion. After killing people and robbing resources, we won't linger. We'll set the place on fire and leave, Night Sorrow said. Summer City's 3 people nodded. Night Sorrow first went outside the small city and set up a hidden teleportation array. Then he met up with the 4 people from Summer City. This small city was 1,000,000 miles away from Peerless City, which happened to be the furthest distance from the teleportation array. In the evening, Night Sorrow and Summer City's 3 people arrived at the teleportation array in this small city and began teleporting towards Peerless City. As soon as they stepped out of the teleportation array, someone shouted, "Who are you?" Sovereigns have to report to the City Lord's mansion and explain why you're here. I'm here to kill people. Report my ass. Summer City's man waved his hand and slashed. The person guarding the teleportation array was also a sovereign, but he couldn't compare to Summer City's peak sovereign. He was directly suppressed by Summer City's gravity mystic technique. The Shengguan Hong's longsword was like a viper, stabbing directly into the sovereign's forehead. Xian Daozi also cut down the guards around the teleportation portal. The 3 of them work together in perfect harmony. They have clones that can send messages. They'll set up a teleportation array to support us. We don't have much time. Let's go. After removing the teleportation crystal from the teleportation array and destroying the array, Night Sorrow flew towards the City Lord's mansion. After Summer City took the sovereign's storage ring, he, Xian Daozi, and Shengguan Hong followed behind Night Sorrow. They realized that Night Sorrow's speed was terrifying. A 7-star king was actually about the same as them. At this time, Night Sorrow's body was surrounded by the power of space and time. With the help of the space-time intent, his speed was extremely fast. When they arrived at the City Lord's mansion, Night Sorrow first threw out a trap and kill array, splitting the guards into groups. The 4 of them started a massacre. Ice Qilin used the frozen domain, completely suppressing the guards below the high-rank king level. Uncle Summer, follow me to the warehouse. Uncle Xian Daozi, Uncle Shengguan, kill the important people and steal their storage rings. With a low roar, Night Sorrow waved the space splitter and charged towards the City Lord's mansion. Chapter 1290. The main reason was that Summer City, Xian Daozi, and Shengguan Hong were not ordinary sovereigns. They had cultivated for countless years, and their foundation and strength were far beyond theirs. Read the full article. The guards in the storehouse had high cultivation, but they could not withstand Night Sorrow's Great Emperor Reincarnation / and Summer City's universe's 7 kills. After entering the storehouse, Night Sorrow's soul power exploded, and all the resources and materials were moved into the empty spirit pearl. Summer City collected the storage rings of the people they killed. After moving the materials, Night Sorrow and Summer City went to the City Lord's mansion again. At this time, Shengguan Hong and Xian Daozi's eyes were bloodshot, and the ground was littered with corpses. Small fries are boring. Let's kill the high-leveled people in the array, and then rush out. We'll set the place on fire as we go. Night Sorrow's body flashed, and he landed on the back of the Mystic Ice Unicorn Tiger. Then he put away the trap array disc and continuously waved the space splitter. Summer City's saber was constantly attacking, and every move was fatal. Shengguan Hong's longsword was as sharp as a poisonous snake. He was also of the fire element, and during the gap in the battle, he released fire energy to set the City Lord's mansion on fire. After Xian Daozi put away the storage rings, he followed Night Sorrow, Summer City, and Xian Daozi. They killed as they rushed out, and at the same time, they set the place on fire. The 4 of them flew very quickly. Even if there were reinforcements, they would not be able to catch up so quickly. After a quarter of an hour, The four of them rushed out of the city. Go back and tell Ling Tian that we will fight to the death. Uncles, let's go. Knight Sorrow shouted at the pursuing Peerless City guards. He waved at Summer City and activated the teleportation array disk. At this time, the pursuers were still some distance away, so they had enough time to activate the teleportation array disk. The website's pages are clean, and there are few advertisements. I love this kind of website. You must give it a good review. Knight Sorrow had just returned to the teleportation array he had left behind when Summer City's 3 people came back. It's so comfortable. Peerless City's City Lord's mansion has been picked by us like this. For countless years, no one has been able to do this. I don't think anyone has ever thought of doing this. Shengguan Hong laughed loudly. Ling Tian, that old thing, is probably going to vomit blood from anger. Summer City nodded. He was also incomparably carefree. Let's drink and take a break. We'll continue. If we don't torture them to death, then we'll consider ourselves useless. Knight Sorrow took out a few jars of wine and distributed them to everyone. Then he took out all the resources he had plundered from the City Lord's mansion. Your Highness, what are you doing? Summer City asked. Once the robbery is successful, we'll split the loot on the spot. Uncles, take whatever you need, Knight Sorrow said. I still have a bunch here, Xian Daozi said, pulling out a few storage rings and transferring out the items inside. Take as much as you want. This is just the beginning. Their precious resources should be in the Celestial Sect's headquarters. However, even ordinary resources are extremely valuable. These are worth at least 200,000 Saint Spirit Stones, Knight Sorrow said. Your Highness, we're all alone. It's fine as long as we have enough resources. Your Highness has a world behind him. Just take it, Shengguan Hong said. That's right. We really don't need it. It's not like it's anything good. Xian Daozi waved his hand. Then we'll talk about it later. Let's take a break. We're going to the second city. Knight Sorrow took the resources and pointed at the map. At this moment, in Peerless City, Ling Tian was furious. They had suffered heavy losses this time. Many sovereigns had been killed, and the City Lord's mansion's resources had been plundered clean. After calming down, Ling Tian looked at the surviving guards of the City Lord's mansion and asked, Are you sure they're from the Qing Emperor's dynasty? Yes, this subordinate wasn't from here before. I was just transferred here. Last time, when Sect Master fought with them, this subordinate saw it with my own eyes. This subordinate remembers the masked man very clearly. The guard bowed and described the situation of Yi Shang's group of 4. Knight Sorrow, Summer City, Xian Daozi, and the other one should be Shengguan Hong, Ling Tian said through gritted teeth. Sect Master, this shouldn't be the case. That Qing Emperor is severely injured. We don't know the details, but he definitely won't be able to fight for a short period of time. Sandalwood just entered the Sky Master realm, so she shouldn't be doing anything big. Why are these people acting like they've gone mad? Elder Jia said. Inform all the cities to be on high alert. Ling Tian let out a breath and passed down an order. Ling Tian was furious. Putting aside the losses this time, the news would spread out tomorrow. Matchless City had been plundered, and Celestial Sect had lost all face. Matchless City was in fact the most prosperous city of Celestial Sect, and it was the core city. Now it had been plundered and burned, and it was beyond recognition. Face slapping, this was a ruthless slap to the face. But at this time, someone came to report to Ling Tian that another city had been attacked. When Ling Tian arrived with his men, this city called Waterjade had already been plundered beyond recognition. The city lord and elders had all been killed, and the resources had been plundered. The city was full of burning buildings. At this time, Knight Sorrow and Summer City were resting. After resting for a while, the few of them continued to move. After looting 3 cities, the 4 of them finally rested. They couldn't enter the cities, so they set up tents in the wilderness. Summer City caught wild beasts, and the few of them barbecued meat and drank wine. Comfortable. No wonder this old man is living so comfortably. Who could live such a comfortable life? Shangguan Hong looked at Xian Daozi and pointed at Summer City. No pressure. Just focus on fighting. Don't think about anything else. It is indeed comfortable, Xian Daozi said. I'm willing to be comfortable. This time, His Highness is willing to take you along. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had anything to do, Summer City said to Shang Guanhong. Summer City and the others drank wine and chatted. Night Sorrow looked at the map and sat on it to mark. Your Highness, how far can this battle go in the end? Xian Daozi looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Night Sorrow closed the map and said, it's not realistic to kill them until they're convinced. At the very least, they'll be so afraid that they'll close the teleportation portal and not dare to go out. Also, they'll send out Heaven Master level puppets to ambush us in the city. Your Highness, that means there's some risk. How about this? The three of us will do it. You can go back, Summer City said. He didn't want Night Sorrow to be in danger. No, I have to join the battle. They injured my master. This matter isn't over. If I don't kill them, it'll be my fault. Night Sorrow came out to train his heart through battle. How could he go back? After resting for a day, Night Sorrow led Summer City and the others to attack the Celestial Sect's cities again. They robbed, killed, set fire, and then ran. Summer City's trio and Night Sorrow's teamwork was very good. After the battle began, they knew what to do without Night Sorrow's command. The three of them, who had been peaceful for many years, were now terrifying when they went crazy. The world was shaken. Chapter 1291. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little? I'll give you a wonderful novel to read. Read the full text. All the forces knew about it. None of them were conservative and had business exchanges. Now that Night Sorrow had brought 3 people to massacre the city, the news naturally spread. This was a big matter. No one was willing to provoke it, but the Qing Emperor's dynasty dared to do it. The Qing Emperor dared to do it, and now Night Sorrow dared to do it too. Moreover, it was the Celestial Sect now. 6 cities had been wiped out, 6 city lord mansions had been massacred, and the city lord and deputy city lord had been killed. They were all monarchs. In addition, their resources had also been robbed. Every time Night Sorrow finished killing, he would shout a slogan, "Fight to the death." The hatred was huge. Now, everyone knew that the Qing Emperor's dynasty and the Celestial Sect had gone overboard. The Celestial Sect had used a few puppets to besiege the Qing Emperor, causing the Qing Emperor to suffer heavy injuries. The Qing Emperor's dynasty would not let this matter rest. Now that Night Sorrow had brought people to wantonly slaughter in the Celestial Sect, causing the Celestial Sect to lose all face, the Celestial Sect would not let this matter rest. Qing Wan sent the information she had obtained to Chia City and gave it to the Qing Emperor and Yufei. She knew that the Qing Emperor was very worried about Night Sorrow. Well done, the Celestial Sect is going to jump. The Qing Emperor handed the information to Misty Rain. Even Wushuang City was wiped out. This guy's guts are really big, but he's really capable. Qing Wan sent the news over as soon as she had the news. Your Imperial Father is worried. Misty Rain said. Imperial Mother, actually, Night Sorrow is very good. Imperial Brother and I are really not jealous, so you don't have any prejudice. Qing Wan said. What prejudice? Imperial Mother drank the tea that he offered. He is also half a disciple of Imperial Mother. All right, pay attention to the news. If he is in danger, inform me. Heavenly Monarch Yufei said to Qing Wan. In the Red Emperor's country, the Red Emperor looked at the news sent by his subordinates and raised his head. We lost. Father, what did you say? Akatsuki, who was standing in the hall, asked. Chiwa and Night Sorrow fought. Now, Night Sorrow is a 7-star king who can fight against a monarch. He fought the Dark Abyss and suppressed the Red Emperor's kingdom. Now, he went to the Celestial Sect and started a massacre. You two lost. I also lost to the Qing Emperor, the Red Emperor said. This guy is really bold. Now that the situation has stabilized a little, he dares to do this, Akatsuki said. Imperial Father is right. I've lost. I'm not as courageous as him. Imperial Father, the last time we met he was still a 4-star king. How did he become a 7-star king now? How many years has it been? Chiwa really didn't understand. Time acceleration. He has never denied that he has a heavenly artifact. The legendary Haotian Godly Pagoda is a space and time attribute treasure. Time acceleration is naturally not a problem. Do you understand now? The Red Emperor said. Even if it's 10 times, 20 times, or even 100 times, it shouldn't be. Even if it's 100 times, the king can't increase 3 levels in 4 or 500 years, Chiwa said. Genius. There is a kind of person called a genius, and Night Sorrow is such a person. Now, who dares to look down on him? Back then, at the Sandalwood wedding, his aura was enough. Now, his aura is even stronger, the Red Emperor said. Akatsuki and Chiwa nodded because they couldn't do that. Datura also received the news. When she saw the news, she excitedly threw away the information in her hand. Then, she returned to the Dragon Bone Palace and shook Night Sorrow's concentric crystal. Night Sorrow looked at Summer City and the others. Then, he moved a distance away and activated the concentric crystal. You bastard, where are you now? Datura's eyes in the concentric crystal were filled with worry. Hee, don't be angry. I'm not in the right state of mind right now. Night Sorrow explained the problem with his mental state. Sigh. I really don't know what to do with you. Although you can bear the loss of your clone, it's still a loss. You must be careful. I heard that Misty Rain has appeared. The Qing Emperor's dynasty and the Sandalwood wedding are very stable. After listening to Night Sorrow's explanation of his mental state, Datura couldn't say anything because Night Sorrow had chosen the right path. She was worried, but she couldn't stop Night Sorrow anymore. Seeing that Datura was a little worried about him, Night Sorrow joked, Aluo, don't worry. I'm now in the mid-stage of Seven King. Are you ready? Come on, do you think I'm afraid of you? But Night Sorrow, you must be careful. Come and propose marriage when you're done. Datura nodded at Night Sorrow. Alright, I'll be careful. Night Sorrow nodded. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow and Datura cut off the concentric crystal. Is your wife worried? Summer City cut a piece of barbecued meat for Night Sorrow and asked. Yes, she's a little worried. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew who the county seat was referring to. It's a good thing that your wife is worried. Look at us. No one cares even if we die outside. We have to be like His Highness. We're all powerful outside, but when we return home, what do you think? Xian Daozi looked at Sheng Guanhong. Sweet home. You don't even know this. Sheng Guanhong glanced at Xian Daozi with disdain. Summer City's 3 people chatted, while Night Sorrow looked at the map. He was thinking about the location of the next battle. Night Sorrow was also quite cautious. If they were ambushed, the consequences would be very serious. However, Night Sorrow didn't think that the possibility of that happening was very high. In the following period of time, Yi Shang led Xia Cheng and the others on a killing spree, tormenting the Wuji sect to the point of exhaustion. Apart from the Sky Pillar, no one could withstand the slaughter of Yi Shang and the others. The Celestial sect only had a few puppets at the level of a Heaven Master, and they didn't have enough. In just 1 month, Night Sorrow's group of 4 massacred more than 50 cities of the Celestial sect. The Celestial sect was on the verge of collapse because the City Lord and Vice City Lord were killed and their resources were swept away. The Celestial sect couldn't hold on any longer. Seal the city. In desperation, the Celestial sect ordered the city to be sealed. The teleportation array was closed, and it would be difficult to launch a sneak attack again. In addition, Night Sorrow's group didn't have the teleportation array to go to the other cities, so it was inconvenient for them to launch a sneak attack and escape. After a break, Night Sorrow took a sip of wine and asked, Uncles, do you dare to play a big game? Why wouldn't we dare? As long as your highness says it, we dare to do it, Xian Daozi said. Let's go to the Celestial sect and massacre them. Then, we can return home and wait for the enemy to attack, Night Sorrow said. Your highness, isn't it a little rash to attack the Celestial sect? Summer City was a little worried. He wasn't afraid of himself, but he couldn't watch Night Sorrow be in danger. It's like this. First, we'll pave the way for massacring the Celestial sect. Then, we'll massacre the Peerless City and go to the Celestial sect. However, this time, we have to be careful. I'll scout the path first and investigate the Peerless City and Celestial Sect. This is the last time we can't miss, Night Sorrow said. Then, when do we move? Xian Daozi asked. He knew that Night Sorrow already had a plan. JCVL on the first chapter. Chapter 1292. Genius 1 second remember love go/small? Here's a wonderful novel for you to read. The website is refreshing and has few advertisements. I love this kind of website the most. You must leave a good review. His Highness orders. Summer City and the others stood up. For safety, we must find someone to cooperate with us. I'll go to 9 grand floors and bring a few spies to Peerless City to investigate. If Ling Tian and the others aren't there, we can clean up Peerless City and run. Then, we'll leave the spies behind. If they find Ling Tian and the others there, we'll go to Sky Peak City and kill them. Destroy the teleportation array and end the battle quickly. Night Sorrow said. Your Highness' plan is good. Xian Daozi said. Night Sorrow set up a teleportation array and teleported back to 9 grand floors. Then he called Nu Lin. Your Highness, what are your orders? Nu Lin asked. Spies that don't fear death. Help me gather some information. Night Sorrow said. Nu Lin returned to Sky Tiger Pass and brought a team of 10 people over. Your Highness, they're all soldiers who have cultivated the Phantom Doppelganger technique. We need to investigate. Send the doppelganger out and the original body will report the information to Your Highness. Okay, let's go. Night Sorrow brought his men and teleported to the temporary base where he and Summer City and the others were staying. Now, we'll go to Peerless City to investigate. The main thing is to see if the sect master and the higher-ups of Sky Peak Sect are there. If they aren't, we'll kill them. Night Sorrow said. Your Highness, you don't have to go personally. We'll leave our original bodies behind and send our doppelganger to investigate. Your Highness will know immediately if there's any news. The leader of the scouting team said. There's another step. If the higher-ups of Sky Peak Sect aren't there, we'll clean up Peerless City and leave. We'll wait outside Sky Peak City for your news. If the higher-ups of Sky Peak Sect are in Peerless City, you guys can crush my soul crystal. You don't have to worry about the rest. Just think of a way to evacuate. The website is refreshing and has few advertisements. I love this kind of website the most. You must leave a good review. Night Sorrow told the scouting team about his idea and plan. He also sent the images of the higher-ups of Sky Peak Sect to everyone. After listening to Night Sorrow's plan, the scout team set off. It was the Phantom Doppelganger that set off. Night Sorrow took out a few jars of wine and handed them to the scout team members while waiting for news. 2 days later, news came back that there were no higher-ups of Sky Peak Sect in Peerless City. During these 2 days, Night Sorrow had also set up a transmission array in a secret location outside Sky Peak City. Good, then let's go out and take down Peerless City. After saying that, Night Sorrow led his team out. After entering Wushuang City, the 4 of them decided to end the battle as quickly as possible. They immediately killed and destroyed the closed teleportation array. After arriving at the City Lord's mansion, Night Sorrow directly threw out the array disk of the Sealing Sky Illusionary Killing Array, restricting the operation of all the array formations in the City Lord's mansion. Night Sorrow was worried that the City Lord's mansion of the Celestial Peak Sect's City Lord's mansion would have secret teleportation arrays ready to help at any time. Night Sorrow's estimation was very accurate. There was a teleportation array in the underground warehouse of Peerless City's City Lord's mansion. However, due to the interference of the array disk of the Sealing Sky Illusionary Killing Array, it couldn't be used. The Sealing Sky Illusionary Killing Array was good at sealing. Yi Shang killed the new City Lord, stole the newly transported resources, and destroyed the teleportation array. Then he started to set the teleportation array on fire. Afterward, he shouted at the people of Xia City to take out the teleportation array disk and activate it. The moment it was activated, Yi Shang put away the Sealing Sky Illusionary Killing Array disk. After Night Sorrow and the others left for an hour, Ling Tian and the others finally arrived. Because the teleportation array was destroyed, they could only fly over. There wasn't enough time. Hashtag looking at the burnt city lord's mansion and the messy scene, Ling Tian roared crazily. At this moment, the scout from the angry Lin army crushed Night Sorrow's messaging crystal and slowly disappeared into the night. At this moment, Night Sorrow and the 3 people from Summer City were waiting outside Sky Peak City. The message is here. Once we enter, we will start killing. However, the most important thing is to destroy the teleportation array. After destroying the teleportation array, we will head to the City Lord's mansion. We will follow the same pattern as before. Night Sorrow said to the 3 people from Summer City before flying towards Sky Peak City. After entering Sky Peak City, Night Sorrow and the others didn't kill anyone. Because they were in a hurry, they had to destroy the teleportation array first. High-level cultivators all had clones, and the speed at which they could transmit messages was too fast. When Night Sorrow and the others approached the teleportation array to destroy it, Ling Tian's face changed. Night Sorrow, if I don't kill you, I swear that I am not human. Elder Jia, quickly set up the teleportation array and connect it to the secret teleportation array in Sky Peak City. We will head back to Sky Peak City as soon as possible. Elder Jia set up the teleportation array and embedded a teleportation crystal. However, the crystal didn't light up. We can't teleport. His pattern is the same as when he attacked this place. He destroyed or interfered with the operation of the teleportation array. Ling Tian's figure flashed as he started flying. Night Sorrow and the 3 people from Summer City didn't hurry to leave. Instead, they started killing. As long as the people from Sky Peak Sect approached the City Lord's mansion, they would kill them. The resources of the City Lord's mansion, as well as the storage rings of the City Lord and Vice City Lord, were all taken by Night Sorrow and the others. After killing enough, Night Sorrow took out the teleportation array disc. Uncles, we are done here. We can leave now. Comfortable, let's go. Xian Daozi shouted as he took out the teleportation array disc and activated it. Summer City and Shang Guanhong did the same. Night Sorrow kept the array disc of the Sealing Sky Illusion Killing Array and activated the teleportation array disc. After teleporting to the outskirts of Heaven's Fate City, Yishan and the rest arrived at the resting place of the scout team. You guys haven't left yet? Night Sorrow asked. My doppelganger is still on the way, the leader of the scout team said. Alright, then we'll wait for a bit. After you guys leave, I'll destroy the teleportation array. You guys have worked hard this time. Here are some resources for you guys to divide. Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and handed it to the leader of the scout team. There were 3,000 Holy Spirit stones inside. Soon, the phantom doppelganger of the scout team returned and teleported back to the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Come, this is all the loot we got from this battle. Let's split it evenly. Night Sorrow took out a small mountain of Holy Spirit stones and other resources. Your Highness, we really don't need it, Xian Daozi said. I just like the process. It doesn't matter how much we rob. Do we lack Holy Spirit stones? Your Highness, you think too much, Shang Guanhong said with a smile. Split it into 4. Are you guys taking it or not? No, I won't take you guys with me if there's another good thing like this, Night Sorrow said. He couldn't bring himself to take all the resources. Your Highness, you have your principles. We understand. Then we'll split it according to work. Your Highness, the battle tactics and strategies are your research. Your Highness, the way to protect yourself and the array disc are yours. So, the 3 of us will take half, and Your Highness will take the other half. If Your Highness still doesn't agree, then this matter is off the table. Xian Daozi looked at Night Sorrow and said seriously. Alright, then it's settled. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that Xian Daozi and the other 2 insisted. They wouldn't take more, and there was no room for discussion. After tidying up, Night Sorrow smiled. It's still robbery. Being a bandit brings in resources quickly. We've robbed millions of Holy Spirit stones, and the other materials are worth hundreds of thousands. The Celestial Sect will suffer a great loss, Night Sorrow said after taking the resources. Not only will they suffer a great loss of face, but they'll also suffer a great loss of face. We've trampled on their 2 core cities, and Peerless City twice. They'll become the laughingstock of the world of reincarnation in the future, Shang Guanhong said. Chapter 1293. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second Go/Little? I'll bring you a wonderful novel to read. After teleporting to the Qing Emperor's dynasty, Knight Sorrow went to the Qing Emperor's palace and gathered all the officials, princes, and the higher-ups of the army for a meeting. After everyone was present, Knight Sorrow glanced around. The celestial sect challenged us. In the past month, they've suffered some blows. We vented our anger. Your Highness is mighty. Everyone in the hall bowed to Knight Sorrow. The next step is to defend. They suffered a loss, so naturally, they can't take it lying down. We're not afraid of an army battle. What we have to defend against is the other party's sneak attack tactics. It's the tactic I used when I went to the celestial sect, Knight Sorrow said. Junior brother, we've studied your tactics. Other than waiting and waiting, there's no other way, Qingluan said. It's true that one move can dominate the world. I can do it, but they can't. There's nothing that can't be solved. Everything is relative. First of all, we have to avoid losses. All the monarchs of the Qing Emperor's dynasty are to go to the Qing Emperor's city to rest and cultivate. Even if they're the city lords, leave the work to their clones or subordinates. None of the monarchs can be killed. This is our foundation. In addition, the soldiers' expenses and training resources will be distributed for 3 years at a time. All the excess resources will be sent to the Qing Emperor's city. Your Highness, there's no problem with the first few things, but we don't have that many teleportation crystals for each city to set up more than 3 teleportation arrays. An official from the Merit Hall stood up and said, How much do you lack? Knight Sorrow asked. More than half. The official's voice was a little low. Continue to carry out this order. If you lack resources, go to the 9-story tower to find me. Whether it's borrowing, stealing, or robbing, I will protect the foundation that Master has built. Some of you may be bribed or controlled, but I'm not afraid. Tell Ling Tian that he can't afford to play the same tricks that I've played. Knight Sorrow, will go against him. I'm in the 9-story tower. If he has the guts, come and kill him. I can afford to lose a clone, but if I catch him, I'll kill him. It's much more stable than the average website. It's updated faster. It's all text and no advertisements. Knight Sorrow's words were powerful. Catch him and kill him. Yu Fei walked into the Qing Emperor's palace. Greetings, Empress. Everyone bowed in greeting. Mistress, please make the arrangements. Yi Shang took 2 steps out of the hall and bowed to Heavenly Monarch Yu Fei. You've arranged it well. We'll do as you say. Also, listen up. When His Majesty is recuperating and Sandalwood is in seclusion, Knight Sorrow of the Qing Emperor's palace is the most important. His words are the Emperor's orders. Misty Rain looked at the group of officials and children. Everyone in the Qing Emperor's palace bowed again to accept the order. Forever. For a long time, free of charge, and read novels, Knight Sorrow, continue. Misty Rain stood beside Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow took out some teleportation crystals and handed them to Tan Lin. Hurry up and set up the teleportation array. It must be done secretly. Also, tell the officials and core members of the Qing Emperor's palace to separate their clones from their original bodies. If a city is attacked, I want to know immediately. Alright, everyone hurry up. The officials left. Only Knight Sorrow, Summer City, Xian Daozi, Shengguan Hong, Qing Lin, and Qing Luan were left. Qing Lin and Qing Luan were the commanders of the army. They were in charge of the war. The officials were in charge of the operation of the city. Mother, do you want to come to my Qing Lin palace? Qing Linet. No. Mother has been living in the 9 grand floors recently. Misty Rain refused immediately. Mistress, you should go to senior brother and senior sister's place. Knight Sorrow said. You idiot. Ling Tian hates you to death now. He will definitely kill you if he has the chance. What if you get killed if I don't go to the 9 grand floors? Your master is in trouble. You are now the backbone of the Qing Emperor's palace. Sandalwood can't do that. Therefore, you can't be in trouble. Misty Rain scolded Knight Sorrow. Junior brother Night, I didn't think it through. Qing Lin looked at Night Sorrow, who was embarrassed by Misty Rain's scolding. But senior brother and senior sister's safety is more important. Night Sorrow felt that he couldn't be above Qing Lin and Qing Wan. It wasn't appropriate. Ling Tian is not stupid. If he goes to assassinate others, it won't affect the situation. However, if something happens to you, it will be a fatal blow to the Qing Emperor's palace. You have shown your prowess in this month. No one can do better than you. Just like the arrangement just now, Qing Lin and Qing Wan can't make such comprehensive arrangements. If something happens to you, the Qing Emperor's palace will lose face. They will lose the core that can command the situation. Misty Rain looked at Night Sorrow seriously. Thank you, mistress. I understand. Also, I plan to go to the Red Emperor's kingdom and the Dark Abyss to talk to the Red Emperor and the Dark Lord. If I can find Ling Tian, will they help me? Can I kill Ling Tian in one go and cripple the Celestial Sect? Night Sorrow expressed his thoughts. Then Mistress will go with you. Misty Rain said. No. I will go to talk. If Mistress goes, it will be like we are asking for help. Mistress, you can't go. We will never be inferior to others. We don't do things that require help. Night Sorrow said. Well said. You have the same appearance and personality as your master. Then you can do as you see fit. Summer City, follow Night Sorrow. Nothing can happen to you. Misty Rain nodded at Night Sorrow and looked at Summer City. Don't worry, Empress. Summer City bowed. You didn't call me that before. Why don't you call me sister-in-law? Misty Rain looked at Summer City and frowned. We haven't seen each other in many years. I'm a little nervous and not used to it. Summer City said. Sister-in-law, the two of us will go too. Xian Daozi glanced at Sheng Guanhong and said. Sheng Guanhong also nodded. Master, are you going too? Qing Lin asked, puzzled. If your highness has something to do, this subordinate will go back. I will be busy with his highness Night Sorrow for a while. Sheng Guanhong said. If you want to eat and drink with our highness, just say so. Summer City said. You guys are still arguing endlessly. Let's go. Yu Fei flung her sleeves at the two of them. Night Sorrow led the three people from Summer City to the Red Emperor's country through the teleportation array. He wanted to confirm the Red Emperor's attitude. In the Qing Emperor's palace, Misty Rain sat on the main throne. Qing Lin, Qing Wan, your father did the right thing. He really didn't care about anything. You guys can't shoulder this burden, but his disciple can. As your father, it's enough for me to see you guys safe and sound. Mother, I understand. I really understand. I admit defeat. Eldest senior brother's battle prowess is famous in the world. He can dominate a region. Youngest junior brother's cultivation is not high enough, but he has a strong view of the big picture. He can really strategize and decide victory from 1,000 miles away. He was able to solve a problem that seemed unsolvable at first, but he handled it very well. Just like now, I don't know how Ling Tian will defend or break through according to his tactics, but he handled it. It seems to be a big trap. Ling Tian will definitely suffer if he dares to come, Qing Lin said. Chapter 1294. Mother, don't worry. Junior brother will take care of it. Whatever he wants to do, he will succeed. Qing Wan said. You two should visit your father in Chiya City more often. He doesn't like to talk about some things, but he really loves you. He just doesn't like it and isn't good at expressing it, Misty Rain said. I will apologize to father. There have been some misunderstandings all these years. I didn't understand father's efforts. Qing Lin nodded. Mother, why are you here? Qing Wan suddenly thought of this question. Misty Rain didn't ask about the Qing Emperor's dynasty for many years. The 9 Stories Tower sent a message to tell us that Yi Shang has returned. Your royal father asked your royal mother to come and take a look. Your royal father is worried that the officials won't accept him because of his young age. He is also worried that you two will cause trouble. Heavenly Lady Yu Fei glanced at her children. Of course not. Qing Wan said with a smile. You two are mature. Okay, let's go to the 9 grand floors, Misty Rain said. Night Sorrow brought the three from Summer City to Red Emperor's city. Go to the Library of Congress. The guards of Red Emperor's city saw the four of them as if they were facing a great enemy. Night Sorrow's name was too famous. He was an irrepressible bandit. When he fought, he was as ruthless as the devil. Don't misunderstand. Night Sorrow of the Qing Emperor's dynasty is here to visit the Red Emperor. This is the invitation. Send it over first. We can wait here, Night Sorrow said as he looked at the guards surrounding the Red Emperor's city. All of you are dismissed. Men, bring Hall Master Yi to the VIP building to rest. A commander stood up and took the invitation before instructing his subordinates. Night Sorrow and the other three were taken to the Red Emperor's VIP building. However, the building was surrounded by guards. Is it necessary? It's like guarding against thieves, Sheng Guanhong muttered. Ha! His Highness is famous, and so are we. You're right, we're guarding against thieves. Xian Daozi said with a smile. As a person, this is what I want. I've lived for countless years in vain. Comfortable, I'm living comfortably now. Sheng Guanhong's face was full of smiles. Uncle Xia, you are all Master's old brothers. Why doesn't Elder Zhuo communicate with you? Why aren't you following us this time? Night Sorrow asked. There are some things that you don't know, Your Highness. Back then, we were 5 brothers with His Majesty. One of us has already passed away. His name is Niu Er. Zhuo Tingyun joined the Qing Emperor's dynasty later. He has a good relationship with His Majesty and is also a brother. However, he is different from the 3 of us, Summer City said. I see. Night Sorrow understands, Night Sorrow said. He's not an outsider. However, if there's a battle, the 3 of us will understand and trust each other more. Xian Daozi nodded to Night Sorrow. At this time, in the Red Emperor's palace, the Red Emperor looked at the invitation. This bastard is definitely up to no good. We must meet him. Our Red Emperor's empire has already entered the water. How far can he push us? He probably wants to borrow people. The Celestial Sect can't withstand his shameless torment. Now that the Celestial Sect wants to come, he won't be able to stop them, Akatsuki said. He has to borrow people. Tianxinchua, you two invited him here. You can't be impolite. In the future, you still have many days to interact with each other in the eastern district of the world of Samsara. It's not worth offending someone like him. The Red Emperor said to Akatsuki and Chiwa. He was of the older generation and was at the same level as the Qing Emperor. Naturally, he wouldn't take the initiative to meet Night Sorrow in the VIP tower. He sent the Crown Prince and Chiwa, who was the commander-in-chief of the army, to invite him. This showed that he attached great importance to him. Akatsuki and Chiwa arrived at the VIP tower. Night Sorrow greets you, Your Highness. Night Sorrow saluted first. Akatsuki and Chiwa also saluted back. I didn't know that Your Highness Night Sorrow would come. I'm sorry for the lack of manners. My father is waiting in the Red Emperor's palace. Then please lead the way, Your Highness. Night Sorrow nodded. When they arrived at the Red Emperor's palace, Night Sorrow saw the Red Emperor sitting on the high throne. There were 2 rows of officials below. Night Sorrow greets you, Your Highness Red Emperor. Night Sorrow saluted. Very good. This time you also made a name for the eastern district of the world of Samsara. Although the name is not very good, I think it's good. The Red Emperor waved his hand and used energy to help Night Sorrow up. Your Highness Red Emperor, you flatter me. Night Sorrow is young and inexperienced. I still need to learn more from Your Highness Red Emperor. Night Sorrow replied politely. Say it. How many people do you want to borrow? I don't have many people to lend you. The Red Emperor said. Borrow people? Borrow what people? Night Sorrow is not here to borrow people. I just want to ask about the Red Emperor's attitude. Night Sorrow was stunned for a moment and said, If you are not here to borrow people, then it's even better. My attitude? My attitude is very clear. No matter how we fight in the eastern district of the world of Samsara, even if we fight to the death, if there are outsiders, we will fight them out first. This is the philosophy of the Qing Emperor, and it is also my philosophy. The Red Emperor said, Well, if there is a chance to kill Ling Tian, I will send a message. Will your Highness Red Emperor go? Night Sorrow looked at the Red Emperor and asked, Is there such a chance? The Red Emperor stood up. If Ling Tian doesn't come out even if he loses, then I can't do anything. If he can't take it and comes to the Qing Emperor's dynasty to find trouble, then the chance will come. My master's wife, Misty Rain, has returned. My senior brother, Sandalwood, is already a big shot. The two of them won't be at a disadvantage against the Celestial Sect. I will go to the Dark Abyss immediately and invite the Dark Lord. Now it's up to your Highness Red Emperor. Night Sorrow said. Good courage. No matter if that woman Datura goes or not, I will go. What else do you have to say? The Red Emperor's murderous aura appeared, and then he immediately restrained it. He was attracted by Night Sorrow's courage. I, Night Sorrow, owe the Red Emperor's country a favor. If the Red Emperor's country has something to do, send a message. Night Sorrow will definitely be there. If there is anything else, Your Highness Red Emperor has said that we are a whole in the eastern district of the world of Samsara. I am now in need of transmission crystals to prepare for war. At the same price, Night Sorrow wants to exchange for some transmission crystals. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, No, that's not necessary. Tianxin, go to the treasury and get him a batch of transmission crystals. Night Sorrow, remember that this is a gift from me. When you need to fight, crush the transmission crystal. Next time, don't bring people with you. It's as if you are going to fight. Summer City, why do you keep holding the sword? What do you think I will do to a little guy like him? Red Emperor looked at Summer City and said with some dissatisfaction. At the same time, he threw a soul crystal to Night Sorrow. Your Highness Red Emperor misunderstood. It's not that I don't trust you, Your Highness. Summer City just wants to give His Highness a peace of mind. He will always be behind him and can fight at any time. Summer City's right hand that was holding the sword didn't move. His left hand touched his sword and slightly bowed. Go back and tell Qing Emperor that something happened to him. I am also uncomfortable. Hurry up and recover. Without Qing Emperor, the eastern district of the world of Samsara is incomplete. Red Emperor said. Thank you, Your Highness Red Emperor. Summer City bowed. Not only Summer City, but Xian Daozi and Shengguan Hong also did the same. They were returning the bow for the Red Emperor's respect to Qing Emperor. Chapter 1295. All right, that's settled then, the Red Emperor said. Thank you, Red Emperor, for your support. Night Sorrow will take his leave. Night Sorrow cupped his hands toward the Red Emperor and left the Red Emperor Palace. Outside the Red Emperor Palace, Akatsuki, who had left earlier, rushed over and handed a storage ring to Night Sorrow. Thank you. Night Sorrow said. We will fight in the future, but right now, I don't want to see you lose, Akatsuki said to Night Sorrow. I won't lose, Night Sorrow said. Don't get ripped off. When the time comes, you won't be able to boast even if you want to. You haven't paid back what you owe me. Chi Hua, who had followed them out, said. You win. Pointing at Chi Hua, Night Sorrow couldn't think of the right words to say. He left those 3 words and led the 3 from Summer City to the teleportation array and teleported to the Dark Abyss. There were 3 major forces in the Samsara East District: the Qing Emperor's dynasty, the Red Emperor's empire, and the Dark Abyss. The Dark Abyss was a dark force with a huge territory and countless large cities. Its main city, Dark City, was also very prosperous. The Qing Emperor's dynasty and the Red Emperor's empire both had businesses there. The Dark Abyss was the same. They also had businesses in the Qing Emperor's dynasty and the Red Emperor's empire. No matter how fierce the war was, it wouldn't destroy each other's businesses. At most, it would control and limit the loss of some rare resources. With businesses connected, there would naturally be teleportation arrays. Night Sorrow had no problem teleporting there. As soon as Night Sorrow stepped out of the teleportation array, a Dark Warrior captain swung his blade at Night Sorrow. Don't move. What do you want? I'm here to see your sovereign. Night Sorrow roared, unleashing a wave of willpower. This Dark Warrior captain glared hatefully at Night Sorrow. You've killed countless members of my Devil Blood Legion. This matter isn't over yet. Someone come and report this. Your Highness, your arrangements aren't good enough. Summer City mumbled as he looked at Night Sorrow. He knew about the relationship between Night Sorrow and Datura. Now that he was almost killed by a soldier, he knew that Night Sorrow did not inform Datura beforehand. It's nothing. It's an official visit. I'm representing the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Who can act recklessly and cut me down just because they want to? Night Sorrow said with a smile. Soon, the upper echelons of the Dark Abyss appeared. They were Rowan and Shershua. The Lord Ruler asked me to bring you over. These three should rest in the guest quarters. Rowan said. He was the head of the officials in the Dark Abyss. Most of the time, he was the one who handled matters in the Dark Abyss. No, we came together, so we have to go together, Xian Daozi said. No need. This lord has worked hard. The three of us will go and wait. Summer City pulled Xian Daozi aside. Rowan nodded at a nearby Bloodstrike guard captain. The arrangements have been made. If these three are disturbed in the slightest, the Lord Ruler will take your head. Night Sorrow was brought by Rowan to the Great Bone Hall. There were other officials in the hall as well. Datura was seated on the main seat, fiddling with a jade ring in his hand. Night Sorrow greets the Lord Ruler. Night Sorrow cupped his hands and shouted. The Great Bone Hall was too big, and Datura was seated high up. He had no choice but to raise his voice. Not bad. Hearing your greetings makes this lord very happy. Let's go. Let's talk in the Dragon Bone Hall. Datura waved his hand, and Night Sorrow disappeared from the Great Bone Hall. What's going on? Shershua asked, puzzled. Nothing. Just don't provoke Lord Night Sorrow in the future, Rowan said to Shershua. After arriving at the Dragon Bone Hall, Night Sorrow found a seat and sat down. You're acting like this is your own home? Datura, who hadn't sat down yet, asked. Yes. In the future, wherever you are, it will be my home, Night Sorrow said. That's right. Wherever I am, it will be your home. Why did you come so formally this time? Datura asked as he brewed tea. Yes, but being brought to the Dragon Bone Hall by you, no matter how formal my visit is, it won't be formal anymore, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Very good, that's a good idea. Let Ling Tian give it a try. With all the forces in the eastern district of the world of reincarnation, it'll be easy to destroy them, Datura said with a smile. I don't think he'll come because he's not stupid. He should have gotten this information, unless those guys from the Black Fiend Valley and Martial God Palace are willing to fight with him to the death, Night Sorrow said. Update, soonest update. No, they're all sly old foxes. Without seeing the heavenly artifact, they won't fight to the death. Besides, they can see how Celestial Sect is being tormented by you. If it's not necessary, they won't want to provoke you. Datura shook his head. That's good. I can still stabilize the situation, Night Sorrow said. 7-star king, not bad. Did the battles during this period help you? Datura changed the topic. My train of thought was right. Now my state of mind is stable. Night Sorrow nodded. That's good. Once your state of mind is stable, your cultivation will improve quickly. However, don't be too anxious. After entering the high-level sovereign realm, your cultivation and realm will not improve so quickly. Your current strength is not enough. However, it won't be easy for anyone below the Sky Master to take your life. That's enough, Mandela said. Night Sorrow and Datura were drinking tea in the Dragon Bone Hall, but Xian Daozi and Shangguan Hong in the VIP building were a little impatient. Old man, aren't you anxious? Who is Datura? She won't give face to His Majesty at all. If she doesn't give face, His Highness will be embarrassed, Shangguan Hong said while looking at Summer City. That won't happen. His Highness was captured by her once, but he was still fine. It won't be the first time they meet. The situation will be harmonious. Summer City was very confident. Night Sorrow and Datura were engaged. He guessed that the two of them would meet to chat. Alright, I'll trust you this time. The Red Emperor has spoken, and with sister-in-law's return, the situation is stabilized. The meat in our mouth is in the bag. Xian Daozi smiled. This guy's personality is like His Majesty's. He's even sharper than His Majesty. Although his cultivation is low, his aura is good. He's also calm when facing the Red Emperor. Sheng Guanhong now had a very high opinion of Night Sorrow. He's been training for a long time. Although his reputation in the world of reincarnation is a bit lacking, in other people's worlds, he's still an overlord. His aura and aura have been formed long ago, Summer City said. His Majesty's 2 disciples are incomparable. After Her Highness Sandalwood comes out of seclusion, she'll definitely be an overlord. His Highness Night Sorrow is famous for being difficult to deal with. The Qing Emperor's dynasty will be as stable as Mount Tai in the future. Xian Daozi sighed. Her Highness Sandalwood is like a general, while His Highness Night Sorrow is like an emperor, an overlord. They're not the same type, but they're both rare monsters, Sheng Wanhong said. In the Dragon Bone Palace, Night Sorrow and Datura talked about the Qing Emperor's situation. Night Sorrow, I don't want to hide it from you, because it'll make you unhappy in the future. The Qing Emperor didn't tell you the truth. The evil poison centipede is a heaven-defying poison. If it's not completely cured, it'll kill you, Datura said hesitantly. Chapter 1296. What's going on? Night Sorrow asked. The Golden Dragon clan is the most domineering among the dragons. They are the kings of dragons, and the evilest are the evil dragons. These 2 clans are the rarest. The Golden Dragon is rarely seen, and the same goes for the Evil Dragon. The evil venomous centipede is the essence of the poison in the evil dragon's body, and it will corrode everything. Even though the Qing Emperor's cultivation is high, he won't be able to withstand it. Datura explained. But Master told me that he will only lose his cultivation, and his life will be Wuyo? Night Sorrow stood up, and his face was full of anxiety. He was afraid that you would be worried, but with the Qing Emperor's cultivation, he will be able to withstand it for a while. This is the time to solve the problem. Datura pulled on Night Sorrow's sleeve and asked Night Sorrow to sit down first. She understood how Night Sorrow was feeling now. I don't have any clues about the enlightened Tao or the white tiger's blood. Night Sorrow patted his forehead. The enlightened Tao is very rare. If you are lucky, you might be able to find it. The enlightened Tao can repair everything that is damaged in the body. If you find the enlightened Tao, the Qing Emperor's cultivation will be restored by more than half, and it will be easier to suppress the evil venomous centipede. The white tiger's blood can detoxify the poison. After detoxifying the evil venomous centipede, the Qing Emperor will only lose his cultivation, and his life will be Wuyo. I understand. I gave Master the Life Spirit Liquid and the 10,000 Life Limitless Pill. It should buy us some time. Night Sorrow exhaled and said. Datura then took out a book. I gave this to you a long time ago. Can you treat it as my dowry? The Great Death / I don't know if I can cultivate this. Night Sorrow took the book and asked. If it was in the past, you could only comprehend by analogy, but not now. I have prepared something for you. Datura took out a black stone. What is this? Night Sorrow asked as he looked at the stone that was emitting an aura of death. The Yellow Spring Stone is a treasure nurtured in the Yellow Spring River. Without a certain amount of time, it won't take shape. I searched the entire Yellow Spring River in the world of reincarnation and found it. It's the only one that can give you death energy. Datura said. Aluo, you know that my Dantian's Jinqi is void Jinqi. My body is circulating the power of desolates, which is also the power of time. In addition, my body also has the power of space. How can I control death energy? Night Sorrow looked at the stone in Datura's hand and said, You can. After you refine it, the Yellow Spring Stone will exist in your body as a treasure. You can use the death energy. You can slowly study it. There will be a suitable method for you. There are some things you don't understand. The death attribute is the closest to the destruction attribute. It contains the highest amount of destruction. The complete death attribute is comparable to your senior brother's blood attribute. Datura said. There are too many things I don't understand. In front of Luo, I am just an ignorant rookie. Knight Sorrow blushed with shame because he didn't know these things. Why is it that an emperor and a heaven pillar, one has comprehended 90% of the will, while the other has comprehended 100% of the will? Why is it that the difference in battle strength between heaven and earth is so great? Because it involves power. The complete will of heaven and earth has a power increase. For ordinary attributes like fire and water, the complete will of heaven and earth contains the destruction and void attributes. The life, death, time, and space attributes are not only strong, but they also have a power increase. You will slowly understand. Datura said. You are saying that all attributes contain the highest attribute? Knight Sorrow looked at Datura in surprise. Of course. From an ordinary person's point of view, doesn't a fire destroy everything? Doesn't a flash flood destroy everything? Therefore, every attribute contains the element of destruction. It is just a matter of how much is contained. The void attribute is the same. People in the world know more about the destruction attribute because there are many records about it. The void attribute, on the other hand, is mysterious. The dominance of the highest attribute is the same. The void attribute is nothing, and it can destroy everything. It is no different from the destruction attribute. Currently, there are known branches of destruction. Some geniuses have comprehended the destruction branch, and your senior brother is one of them. However, no one has understood or comprehended the void attribute, even if it is a branch. Datura looked at Knight Sorrow and felt that Knight Sorrow was the lucky one. Luo, I need to think about what you told me. It is a little complicated, Knight Sorrow said. I am just casually telling you. This understanding might be very important to ordinary cultivators. However, you have the highest attribute, so it is not that important, Datura said. After chatting with Datura for a while, Knight Sorrow decided to leave. The Qing Emperor's dynasty was not stable yet, and there were many things that needed to be arranged. Datura hugged Knight Sorrow. This is my main body. I can't tell the difference. Knight Sorrow looked at Datura and said, It is very simple. Pay attention to this. There is a strand of golden hair here. There is no clone. Datura turned around and pointed at his hair. I know. I will come to see you when I have time. Or you can wait for me in the city in the sky. My master lives in the small lakeside house in Seven Night City, Knight Sorrow said. After hugging Datura again, Knight Sorrow put away the yellow spring stone that Datura gave him and left the Dragon Bone Palace. Finally, he was led to the VIP building by Shishua. How is His Highness? Xian Daozi asked anxiously. No problem. As long as Ling Tian dares to appear in the Qing Emperor's dynasty with a puppet, he will not need to return, Knight Sorrow said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, wonderful. Your Highness, there is nothing you cannot do. Even the Dark Lord can persuade you, Sheng Wanhong said excitedly. There are many things you don't know. The future will make you too tremble, Summer City said to the excited Xian Daozi and Sheng Wanhong. If there is nothing else, let's go back. My master's wife is still worried. Also, I want to see how the Qing Emperor's dynasty is doing. The teleportation array must be set up quickly, Knight Sorrow said and walked out. Shishua sent Yi Shang and the others to the teleportation array. He seemed to understand something, but he couldn't explain it, nor did he dare to guess. He only knew that he couldn't offend Yi Shang. After teleporting to the Qing Emperor's dynasty, Knight Sorrow and the others headed to the Qing Emperor's palace. At this moment, Qing Lin and Tan Lin were overseeing the situation. Tan Lin was making arrangements, while Qing Lin was coordinating the Qing Lin army. Junior brother, you're back. Did everything go well? Qing Lin asked when he saw Knight Sorrow. Everything went well. Where is Master's wife? Knight Sorrow asked. She is in the 9-layer pagoda. Blue Phoenix is with her. You should go rest after running around, Qing Lin said. Knight Sorrow nodded and led Summer City and the others back to the 9-layer pagoda. Inside the 9-layer pagoda, Misty Rain asked in surprise after hearing Knight Sorrow's report, Did everything go well? Datura also agreed? Chapter 1297. If Ling Tian and the others bring their puppets here, I will send a message to the Red Emperor and the Dark Dominator. Oh right, Fei Xiu, give this storage ring to Tan Lin, Night Sorrow said as he took out the storage ring given to him by Akatsuki. Your Highness, let's see how we can send something of equal value back. Otherwise, Your Highness will owe the Red Emperor a favor, Summer City said. Don't worry, I will repay this favor slowly. The Red Emperor's empire will also need help, Night Sorrow said. What's going on? Our Qing Emperor's empire can't owe others a favor, Misty Rain said. No, mistress, don't worry. Originally, I wanted to use other resources to exchange for the teleportation crystal, but the Crimson Emperor didn't accept it. He said that it was a gift to me, Yi Shang, so I will settle this matter, Yi Shang said. The Red Emperor isn't stupid. He thinks highly of you, so your favor is very important. However, this is the only way, Misty Rain said. If I didn't accept it, then it would seem as if I rejected it. It would seem as if I was being petty, so I didn't refuse at the time, Yi Shan explained. You didn't do anything wrong. If you rejected it, it would mean that you were keeping him at arm's length. It's not appropriate. We can only wait and see. Did Datura make things difficult for you? Heavenly Monarch Yufei asked. She was worried that Yi Shang would be wronged because Mandela was famous for being ruthless in the world of reincarnation. No, Datura didn't make things difficult for me. Don't worry, Night Sorrow said. Heavenly Monarch Yufei nodded. Xuanji, spread the word. I guarantee that the news will spread everywhere. Whatever the price is, I'm willing to pay. The remains of the profound Ice Tiger King, the Thunder Rune Spirit Accumulation Pill, I don't care what kind of pills, weapons, or armor you need. I'm willing to pay them all, Yi Shuang said to Jun Xuanji. Night Sorrow, what are you trying to do? This won't do. We can spread the news, but don't mention the bones of the mystical Ice Tiger King. Just say that we will pay any price. If they ask for a sky-high price, we can pay them back on the spot. However, if they mention the bones of the mystical Ice Tiger King, it won't be easy to negotiate, Misty Rain said to Jun Xuanji. Jun Xuanji nodded and went to make arrangements. Currently, all the officials of the Qing Emperor's palace were negotiating with her. She was the representative of the 9 Grand Pavilion. Mistress, I want to pay a bigger price. This way, we can mobilize everyone and have a better chance. Although the bones of the mystical Ice Tiger King are valuable, it is not worth mentioning compared to Master's health, Night Sorrow said. Yi Shang, I understand what you mean. But you have to know that if you don't have it, it's useless even if you pay a huge price. If you take out a treasure like the profound Ice Unicorn Tiger King skeleton, you'll be trapped in a whirlpool. Our Qing Imperial Empire can't become a whirlpool anymore. Your master and his wife know what you're thinking, said Celestial Monarch Yufei. Night Sorrow nodded. He couldn't say anything else. After that, everyone went back to work. Even the Blue Phoenix left. Mistress, tell me the truth. How much time do we have to find the materials for Master's problem? Night Sorrow asked when there was no one else in the hall. Your master will be fine. You don't have to worry too much, Misty Rain said. Mistress, I have learned that the poisonous centipede evil dragon is fatal. Without the corresponding resources, the consequences will be very serious. Night Sorrow looked at Misty Rain and said, Since you know, I won't hide it from you. Without your life spirit liquid and longevity limitless elixir, the situation will be very bad. It will be unimaginably bad. I don't dare to think about it. However, with the longevity limitless elixir, your master will be able to survive for 10,000 years. I believe that if we work together, we can solve this problem, Misty Rain said. With 10,000 years, I feel more at ease. Let's wait and see what the Celestial Sect will do. After this crisis, I will go to the Xuanhuan Great World and the Shenwu Great World to spread the news. Mingdao must get it as soon as possible, Night Sorrow said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, let's solve the current crisis first. You don't have to worry too much. The Qing Emperor's dynasty is everyone's dynasty. Let's work together. Misty Rain nodded to Night Sorrow. Misty Rain's view of Night Sorrow had completely changed. He understood why the Qing Emperor valued and liked Night Sorrow so much. No one would dislike such a disciple. In the following days, the 9-story tower became the core of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. The officials and princes came to the 9-story tower to see Night Sorrow about the results of their work. The defense of the Qing Emperor's dynasty was carried out in an orderly manner. After watching Night Sorrow dismiss the officials, Summer City said, "Your Highness, the Black Fiend Valley was dishonest some time ago. Let's go to the Black Fiend Valley now and teach them a lesson like we did to the Celestial Sect some time ago. If we attack the Black Fiend Valley now, it will force the Black Fiend Valley and the Celestial Sect to join forces and fight to the death with us. This is not good for us. If we deal with the Celestial Sect now, other forces will laugh at us. After we deal with the Celestial Sect, we will attack the Black Fiend Valley. At that time, it will be difficult for the Black Fiend Valley to join forces with others. At the very least, the Celestial Sect will not join forces because when the Celestial Sect is suffering, they will just watch and not help," Night Sorrow said. Summer City, you are far behind in the battle of wits. Don't come up with bad ideas. Just do as Night Sorrow said. Misty Rain glanced at Summer City and said, "Sister-in-law, you know that Summer City is stupid. Don't lower yourself to Summer City's level." Summer City cupped one hand in the other before his chest and said to Misty Rain, "You haven't made any progress, but you are still the Summer City of the past, full of courage," Misty Rain said. The situation was very stable. Ling Tian had spies in the eastern part of the world of Samsara, so he knew the situation of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. He couldn't take revenge. The Celestial Sect still had 3 Heaven Master-level puppets, but the Qing Emperor's dynasty could gather more than 3 Heaven Masters. Not to mention the Red Emperor and Misty Rain, Ling Tian didn't dare to ignore Sandalwood's fighting strength. Sandalwood, who had just entered the Heaven Master level, was able to save the Qing Emperor, which showed how terrifying she was. Datura could defeat Zhang Taiyang and make him flee. This was known to everyone in the world of Samsara. Night Sorrow was not afraid of waiting because he had the formation plate. Night Sorrow could fight and run as he wished. But Ling Tian couldn't. He was afraid of being ambushed. Once he was ambushed, the Celestial Sect would be finished. "Foster father, if we can't fight on a large scale, then we should kill Night Sorrow himself. If we kill him, the Qing Emperor's dynasty won't be as united as it is now," Chang Xiangxi said. "It's not that easy. That little bastard is very intelligent. He must be prepared for this. It's difficult to assassinate him. Let the spies continue to investigate." Ling Tian looked at Chang Xiangxi and said, "Then we'll just accept this loss?" Ling Ju also said, "Of course not. I'll go to the Black Fiend Valley now and see what Li Tianba and Li Tianhu have to say. They won't let the Qing Emperor's dynasty be so arrogant," Ling Tian said. Chapter 1298. Ling Tian was disappointed when he went to the Celestial Sect. Li Tianba said he was in seclusion, and it was Li Tianhu who received him. Li Tianhu's reply to Ling Tian was that he couldn't make the decision and could only wait for Li Tianba to come out of seclusion. Ling Tian naturally understood that this was an excuse, but he had nothing to say. The Celestial Sect and the Black Fiend Valley weren't in an alliance. They just shared the same interests temporarily. If the Black Fiend Valley wasn't willing to cooperate, Ling Tian couldn't do anything. After Ling Tian left, Li Tianba appeared. "There's no other way. The Qing Emperor's dynasty hasn't reached the stage where we can kill as we please. We can't force it," Li Tianba said. "That's right. That Sandalwood should be adapting to her new realm now. When she comes out, her combat strength can't be underestimated." Li Tianhu and Li Tianba had the same idea. They couldn't be dragged into this mess. Ling Tian was furious when he returned to the Celestial Sect, but what could he do? The Celestial Sect was at a disadvantage, but the other forces weren't, so they wouldn't rashly fight the Qing Emperor's dynasty. He didn't dare to bring people and puppets to fight. He had already investigated Night Sorrow's plan. He was a little afraid of Night Sorrow's defense. Night Sorrow's arrangement eliminated the possibility of a sneak attack. As long as they fought, the Qing Emperor's dynasty would immediately send people to kill them. He couldn't guarantee that he could escape unscathed. Without a battle, Knight Sorrow stayed in the 9 Grand Floors. He was now studying the Death Destruction Slash, but he didn't cultivate it. There was only one underworld stone, and it had to be used by the main body. The Death Destruction Slash would be the best if the main body could cultivate it. Without a battle, Knight Sorrow's state of mind also calmed down. He needed a fearless heart and the determination to face the world. However, Knight Sorrow also realized that the improvement of the will of nothingness had slowed down. This was the difficulty of high-level king's cultivation. The comprehension of the will of nothingness was slow, but the improvement of the will of time and space was still maintained. In his free time, Knight Sorrow would go to Seven Night City to accompany Qing Emperor. Knight Sorrow knew that the current Qing Emperor was just an ordinary old man. He had lost the cultivation that had once allowed him to look down on the world, so he was probably very disappointed. Knight Sorrow, I've heard from Qing Lin and Qing Wan about the current situation. You've done well. I'm very pleased. Qing Emperor said as he looked at Knight Sorrow who was brewing tea. Master, don't worry. I will find Mingdao and White Tiger's blood. Knight Sorrow said as he poured a cup of tea for Qing Emperor. Don't worry. Life now is not bad. I felt many things that I didn't feel before. Perhaps life should be like this. Ordinary, quiet, and peaceful. These are all things that I didn't feel before, Qing Emperor said with a smile. Master, don't worry. Qing Emperor's dynasty is very stable. After senior brother comes out of seclusion, it will be even more stable. Knight Sorrow was still afraid that Qing Emperor would be worried. I know you and senior brother's abilities. Qing Emperor's dynasty, I don't worry. Wuyo is my current state of mind. However, you have to be careful with your senior brother. He is too strong and too weak, Qing Emperor said. I will. Knight Sorrow nodded. At this moment, Yi Qingyan came with a food box. However, when she saw Knight Sorrow, she was a bit nervous and embarrassed. If there's food, there's wine. Take it out. It's not like I don't know. If you need it in the future, just get it from your mother. Take a little less each time. Your grandmaster's state of mind is the same when he drinks. 1 cup or 2 cups is no different from 1 jar or 2 jars, Knight Sorrow said to Yi Qingyan. Qingyan understands. Yi Qingyan nodded. After drinking a cup of wine with Qing Emperor, Knight Sorrow left. However, he asked Yi Qingyan to accompany Qing Emperor for a while. Seeing Knight Sorrow leave, Qing Emperor smiled at Yi Qingyan. In your family, your mother and aunt are the stricter ones, right? Why are you and Yujun more afraid of your father? Father has never said harsh words to us. Not even once, let alone scolding us. Father has been working too hard these years. My brother and I don't want him to be disappointed, not even a little bit, said Yi Qingyan. She was only a month older than Yi Yujun and was the elder sister. Your way of thinking is right and it's also very rare. You've all done it. In your father's heart, nothing is more important than his family and the people around him. In fact, his inner motivation comes from protecting the people he wants to protect. You are his motivation to move forward, and that includes his current grandmaster, Qing Emperor said. Father has created one situation after another. However, with great achievements comes great responsibility. My mother said that fathers simply can't stop. Only when the day comes when he can sweep through everything, when he can suppress everything will he be able to have peace and quiet, said Yi Qingyan. Your father can do it. He just needs some time. Give him time. At that time, you can say that you're Knight Sorrow's daughter and you can do whatever you want in the world. You're proud to have such a father, said Qing Emperor with a smile. Grandmaster, it's not like that in Qingyan's world. Father is the pride of my heart. But one day, when someone talks about Yi Qingyan, I think that Yi Qingyan is also the pride of my father. That's my dream, said Yi Qingyan. Good. I've always known that your uncles were lacking. They were lacking in aptitude and state of mind. Now I understand that what they lack the most is their mentality, will, and belief. It's the belief in your heart. As long as you have this belief, you'll succeed. Qing Emperor looked at Yi Qingyan and said. At this moment, he understood the most important thing that his children lacked. Grandmaster, I'm talking nonsense. Please don't laugh at me, said Yi Qingyan embarrassedly. No, you can't lose your belief. Qing Emperor nodded at Yi Qingyan. He knew that Yi Qingyan's mentality and belief were the foundation of success. Qing Emperor's dynasty was stable. Knight Sorrow planned to make a move. However, he went to Misty Rain first. Grandmaster's wife, I plan to go to the Xuanhuan Great World and the Shenwu Great World to post a reward. We have to solve the problem of Ming Dao, said Knight Sorrow. Chapter J of the original edition Misty Rain said, Grandmaster's wife has already asked for help in the Shenwu Great World. You don't need to go there. We'll talk about the Xuanhuan Great World later. Now the Qing Emperor's dynasty needs someone to guard it. You're the most suitable person. You can't leave. It's not time for you to wander around. Knight Sorrow nodded. He was anxious. However, the Qing Emperor's dynasty was not stable yet. Then I'll wait for you to finish your closed-door training. Then I'll go out for a walk. You don't need to be anxious. How long have you lived? It's only 100 years. Your master has taken the limitless elixir. He has 10,000 years. What can't you do in 10,000 years? Don't you have confidence? Misty Rain saw Knight Sorrow's anxiety. I understand. I have to convince the celestial sect. Only then can I do things with confidence. I believe I can do it. As long as I work hard, there's nothing I can't do. Knight Sorrow suddenly felt more relaxed. Chapter 1299. All along, what Knight Sorrow did not lack the least was faith. He felt that as long as he was willing to work hard, there was nothing he could not accomplish. Misty Rain spoke the truth. He cultivated to the High King level in 100 years. Then, even if he had 1,000 years to cultivate to the Monarch level, there was enough time. Have you thought it through? Misty Rain looked at Knight Sorrow and asked. I understand. I have confidence in myself. Knight Sorrow nodded. Misty Rain nodded. She had already sensed Knight Sorrow's change. She suddenly felt that her husband was indeed amazing. His eyes for accepting disciples were sharp. Knight Sorrow's change in mood was very rare. Many times, what limited people's progress was a psychological barrier. Awakening and enlightenment were extremely important. Knight Sorrow here could enlighten him with just a few words. This was rare and valuable. Soon after, Knight Sorrow found materials related to the constellation world. Although he would not go now, he would definitely go in the future. After finding the materials, Knight Sorrow slowly studied them. The constellation world was at the level between a high-grade world and a large world. It was slightly higher than a high-grade world, but it still did not reach the level of a large world. The restrictions were relatively special. The sky giants were rejected and could not enter. People of other levels could enter, but no one could easily enter. The constellation world was the territory of divine beasts. Entering was very difficult to return. The constellation world was the Eastern Azure Dragon territory. The Azure Dragons were high-grade dragons. They had the opportunity to be born and advance to the Golden Dragon. The Southern Vermilion Bird territory was the territory of the Vermilion Bird tribe. The Northern Black Turtle territory was the territory of the Black Turtle tribe. The Western White Tiger territory was the territory of the White Tiger tribe. The White Tiger tribe members were few, but each was an existence that defied the natural order. Under the sky giants, encountering them was death. In addition, not to mention that the sky giants could not enter, even if they could, they did not dare enter the constellation world. The constellation world had sky giants level divine beasts, and the divine beasts' battle prowess was generally tyrannical. The sky giants had no chance of victory. In addition, as long as you entered, the other side would sense the opportunity and immediately come to kill you. Over time, the constellation plane became a forbidden area that no one dared to mention. No one dared to go there to train, and no one could go there to obtain resources. Thus, the constellation plane almost faded from the sight of cultivators. White tigers are extremely rare, and each of them possesses astonishing battle prowess. A high-level king can fight against a monarch, and a monarch can contend against a heaven master. Knight Sorrow mumbled in a low voice because he discovered that the difficulty was extremely high. Knight Sorrow felt that he had to wait. He had the ability to fight those at a higher level. If he reached the monarch realm, he would be able to defeat the white tiger. If he wanted to deal with the evil venomous centipede dragon, he would need at least the blood of a monarch-ranked white tiger. Knight Sorrow closed the book and put it into his storage ring. He felt a lot more relieved. He felt that he wouldn't need a long time to reach the monarch realm. If 100 years wasn't enough, then he would take 1,000 years. If 1,000 years wasn't enough, then he would take 3,000 years. If 3,000 years wasn't enough, then he would take 5,000 years. Knight Sorrow believed that he could do it. Whether it was Ming Dao or white tiger blood, as long as he could get one, then the Qing Emperor's life would be Wuyo's. Knight Sorrow was confident that he could do it. Since he had nothing to do, Knight Sorrow studied the Death Destruction Slash. The Death Destruction Slash was different from the Great Emperor Reincarnation Slash. The difference was that the Death Destruction Slash used the death energy as the core. A secret technique was used to merge one's will and soul power into the energy. When combined with the death energy, the attack would be able to suppress the opponent's soul and make them lose their ability to react. The duration of this loss depended on one's cultivation and the opponent's ability. Datura's cultivation was very high. When attacking, he could affect a heaven master. How could Zhang Taiyong lose? When facing the Death Destruction Slash, he couldn't counter it. He could only passively receive the attack. That was why he was at a disadvantage. There was only one underworld stone. Knight Sorrow decided to let his original body cultivate it. His original body cultivated it, but his doppelganger didn't have this ability. The death energy appeared in the form of a treasure. It wasn't cultivated by the original body, so his doppelganger couldn't have it unless he got a second underworld stone. This result was regrettable, but Knight Sorrow was already very happy. The original body was the most important. The doppelganger was to help fight and deal with things. After analyzing, Knight Sorrow didn't cultivate, nor did he go to the Samsara Palace to deliver the underworld stone. The original body cultivated very well, so there was no need to waste time. Besides, it wasn't appropriate to keep troubling the Samsara Palace's device spirit. The Samsara Palace wasn't his, so he couldn't enter and leave as he pleased. It was like his own home. That day, when Knight Sorrow went to see the Qing Emperor sized up Knight Sorrow. "You're in a good state. You're energetic. Very good. Master, you've been hiding it from me because you don't want me to take risks and worry. I know about it, but I don't think it's a problem. Master, you can hold on for 10,000 years. If you can't solve it within 10,000 years, then I'm useless. Master, I'm confident that I can do what I want to do well," said Knight Sorrow. This is the formation diagram of the Xianhuang Dragon Tiger formation. However, it's not suitable for you to set up a city-protecting formation like the Xianhuang Dragon Tiger formation. If it doesn't have its own characteristics, it won't be a signature. You have the formation diagrams of the 9 secret slaughtering god formation, the heaven sealing formation, and the heaven locking formation. Together with this Xianhuang Dragon Tiger formation, you can combine them and develop a formation that belongs to Knight Sorrow. The Qing Emperor handed a yellowish formation diagram to Knight Sorrow. Master, this is the formation diagram of the 9 secret slaughtering god formation. You love formations. Take it to kill time. Knight Sorrow took out the formation diagram of the 9 secret slaughtering god formation. This is from Datura. It's not suitable for me to study it. The Qing Emperor shook his head and said, he was a gentleman. There were some things he didn't want to do. Master, Datura won't mind. I'll explain, said Knight Sorrow. That won't do. This is my principle. The Qing Emperor began to shake his head. Knight Sorrow had no choice. He walked to the side and took out the concentric crystal. He told Datura about it. Translator, Atlas Studios editor, Atlas Studios, no problem. Since I gave it to you, it's yours. You can arrange it however you want. Your master is a stubborn old man. Datura said with a smile. She knew the Qing Emperor very well. After knowing the result of the conversation between Night Sorrow and Datura, the Qing Emperor took the formation diagram of the 9 secret slaughtering god formation. My formation skills are deeper than yours because I've studied formations for a long time. I have the materials to set up a formation that can trap a giant. I can also refine a formation disc. However, I haven't studied it deeply. Since you've chosen this path, then continue on it. It's a shortcut to cultivate your mind and improve your soul cultivation. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. There's one more thing. We have a great hatred for the celestial sect. But it's not the time to fight with them. Don't act rashly. The Qing Emperor said, Master, is the celestial sect really worth being so afraid of? Night Sorrow asked. If any sect in the world of samsara has a rank 9 practitioner, the celestial sect is the most likely. The Qing Emperor exhaled and said, Chapter 1300. Is there such a possibility? Night Sorrow felt that this matter was a little serious. Yes. Do you know that every world has a lifespan? Qing Emperor asked. Yi Shang nodded. He was aware of this. Space and worlds had lifespans, and the length of their lifespans was different. The lifespans of the highest worlds were longer, and the lifespans of the lower worlds were shorter. However, no matter how short a space world was, it was still very common for it to have a lifespan of tens of millions of years. When a world reached the end of its lifespan, it would collapse and reorganize. This was called destruction. If the origin core of a space world was strong, it would develop again after destruction and become a new world. If the origin core was weak, it would be completely destroyed, and a new world would produce a replacement. This was a cycle. Another was the Great Destruction cycle. The Great Destruction of a world was terrifying. It was the collapse of a group of worlds. For example, when the world of samsara was destroyed, the surrounding small worlds would be annihilated and reorganized. This was the Great Destruction era. The period of the Great Destruction cycle is called an era. Do you know how long the celestial sect has existed? They have existed since the last era and have a long heritage. Just like the puppet technique, they are a civilization of the last era. How deep do you think their heritage is? Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow and said, Night Sorrow didn't speak. He felt that he knew too little, too little. There was once a diviner who divined something about the celestial sect, but he was killed directly. The result of the diviner's divination was that the celestial sect had a 9th rank corpse. Qing Emperor said, There's a 9th rank corpse? That's an undying realm. Isn't a 9th rank corpse extremely terrifying? Night Sorrow was extremely shocked. The undying realm is just like my situation. What's the biggest threat and harm of the evil dragon poison centipede? It's that the soul can't stay in this body. I said that I died, but it's actually a process of reincarnation, Qing Emperor said. Night Sorrow understood that the undying king realm wouldn't really dissipate in the world unless the soul was destroyed. They could be reincarnated. However, reincarnation was very risky. It was a period of confusion. That meant that the memories of the previous life had not been awakened. If one was unlucky and met with some setbacks and died prematurely, they would really die. Reincarnation depended on luck. Even if one was a heaven overlord, they would still be powerless after reincarnation. If they were unlucky, they would still die. Yi Qianhua had successfully reincarnated many times because the danger level of the 9 regions world was low. Qi practitioners were in the undying realm, while body practitioners were in the undying realm. Only the current Night Sorrow could be considered as undying realm. Even if Night Sorrow's body was chopped off, he could still regrow his limbs. His body was almost entirely made of crystal, and his memories were immortal. As for his soul, Night Sorrow's soul was no different from the other kings. He was also immortal. What's the state of the corpse now? If you knew this, you shouldn't have gone, Yi Shang said to the Azure Emperor. No matter what state it is, no matter how strong they have to fight as long as they provoke them. But you're different. You're in the growth stage, so they can't fight you head-on. Besides, they won't use their trump card unless it's the most critical moment. If they used their trump card, they would have already unified the world of samsara. Qing Emperor sneered. I understand. Knight Sorrow nodded. Let me tell you this. You can be respectful, but you can't be afraid. If you're not bullied, you can bear it. But if you're bullied, you have to fight. Now you've done well. They can't do anything. Use their trump card? They don't dare and won't. They can win if they use their trump card, but they're no longer the celestial sect that everyone suspects and scruples. Qing Emperor said. After chatting with Qing Emperor for a while, Knight Sorrow returned to the Land of Sky. He planned to talk to Father Gu. With the Thunder Pattern Spirit Gathering Elixir and the support of unlimited elixirs, Father Gu was now a venerable. He was in an excellent state of mind. Father! Knight Sorrow shouted to Father Gu, who was wearing coarse clothes and was mowing grass in the Land of Sky. Why are you so loud? You scared me. Father Gu glanced at Knight Sorrow and said, I'll do it. I haven't done this for a long time. Knight Sorrow took the big scissors from Father Gu's hand and began to trim the grass. When can you come out in person? Lord Yu and Qing Yan have grown up. I can help you take care of a few more. Father Gu patted the broken branches and leaves on his clothes and said, Father, don't you think I'm doing well now? My son and daughter are obedient and sensible. What else can I ask for? Knight Sorrow said with a smile. In the past, Zhuyuan village couldn't afford to raise so many children. But now, you can't afford to raise so many children. You can't afford to raise them, but the Yi family can. I can too. Father Gu glared at Knight Sorrow. That's right. As long as you can give birth, the Yi family can afford to raise them. Night Moon Dynasty's direct descendants are still counting on you to have more children. Yi Wuyo and Yu Qing walked over together. Father, Mother, you have me as your son. I also have Lord Yu as my son. I've completed my mission. You can talk to Lord Yu about this in the future. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. You bastard. Can't I teach you a lesson now that you've grown up? Yu Qing scolded with a smile. In her heart, the more grandchildren the better. However, she didn't force it because the Yi family was doing very well now. They were the #1 family in the 9 regions world. Translator, Atlas Studios editor, Atlas Studios, I wouldn't dare. No matter how hard I've grown up, Father, Mother, and Father can beat and scold me as you wish. Knight Sorrow said. Then, the family went to the center of the garden. Knight Sorrow began to make tea. Knight Sorrow, your adopted brother often comes over. He always says that his tea house has opened in Seven Night City, but you don't go there often. Father Gu said. I'm indeed very busy. The world is very chaotic now. Every step I take is like walking on thin ice. Knight Sorrow said. Father Gu nodded. He knew that Knight Sorrow didn't have it easy. Grandpa, I'm here. At this time, Chen Zhukong appeared with 2 roasted chickens and a jar of wine in his hands. Greetings to your uncle. Father Gu said. Uncle, thank you for your guidance last time. Chen Zhukong bowed. You know him? I thought you didn't know him. Serve the dishes. Father Gu said. Knight Sorrow asked Chen Zhukong to sit down, but Chen Zhukong remained standing. After hesitating for a while, Chen Zhukong said, Uncle, can you do me a favor? I don't want to stay in the Commander-in-Chief's residence any longer. I want to take a look at Seven Night City. But my brother said that without his permission, if I dare to take a step out of the 9 regions world, he will break my legs. Father, what do you think? Knight Sorrow looked at Father Gu. How should I put it? Young people should go out and explore. His brother might be worried about his safety. Father Gu said. All right, I'll let your brother know when I see him in Seven Night City. Knight Sorrow said. Is that okay? Grand Ancestor Qian Hua might have his own ideas. Yujing said. She felt that Knight Sorrow would take responsibility for this. Is that okay? Our Lord Yu and Qing Yan are also out and about. Knight Sorrow felt that there was no problem. Chapter 1301. Knight Sorrow is right. If I had objected to him leaving Zhuyuan village back then, the current situation would be unbearable. Alive? Can an ordinary person live to this age? They might have already returned to the earth. Old Man Gu said. Old Man Gu is right. Yu Qing nodded. She was very satisfied with her son's achievements and was also very grateful to Old Man Gu. After chatting with his parents and Old Man Gu for a while, Night Sorrow left the city in the sky and went to Chiye City. He found Yi Qianhua and told him about Chen Zhukong. Bastard, why would I look for you for such a small matter? I've been planning to do this for a long time. I just want to test his temper. I'll talk to him later, Yi Qianhua said. He knew that Night Sorrow had a lot of things to do. Chen Zhukong's matter was a small matter and he shouldn't trouble Night Sorrow. After helping Chen Zhukong solve the problem, Night Sorrow returned to the 9 grand floors. When Night Sorrow returned, Qing Lin and the officials of the Qing Emperor's palace were reporting something to Misty Rain. Good. You guys can tell him directly so that I don't have to pass on the message, Misty Rain said. Then Qing Lin and the others told Night Sorrow about the current situation of the empire. The defenses were all completed. It's more stable now. The officials should return to their posts. Those who have clones should return as much as possible. Their families should be placed in the Qing Emperor's city. Everything should be normal. We have ways to counter them. Ling Tian won't dare to attack at all. Also, Uncle Xian Daozi, arrange for the Qing Emperor's guard to clean up the Qing Emperor's city again, Night Sorrow said. Your Highness, the spies in the Qing Emperor's city are hidden very well. It won't be easy to dig them out, Xian Daozi said. It's best if we can dig them out. Even if we can't, we'll let the other forces know that we're constantly cleaning up the Qing Emperor's city. They won't dare to infiltrate. Without a large number of infiltrators, the Qing Emperor's dynasty will be safe, Night Sorrow said. Just do what I tell you to do. What do you understand? Misty Rain said. I can't keep up with your thoughts, Xian Daozi said. I can't guess what your Majesty's goal is. I'll go immediately. He left to make arrangements for Night Sorrow's deployment. Currently, Xian Daozi was in charge of the Qing Emperor's palace's imperial guards, while the shadow guards were under Summer City's commander. Sheng Guanhong was in charge of the Qing Emperor's imperial guards. This was what the Qing Emperor had asked Night Sorrow to arrange, as they were the most trustworthy people. After everything was arranged, Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea and invited Misty Rain to sit down. Mistress, no one will assassinate disciples here. If you have time, go accompany Master. It's okay. We've been husband and wife for many years. I haven't been with him for millions of years. Isn't he living a good life? Misty Rain said with a smile. It's different now. When people are suffering setbacks, what they need the most is the support and companionship of those around them. No matter how powerful Master used to be, he still needs his family now, Night Sorrow said. You're right. If you need anything, just send a message at any time. Remember, don't worry and make bold arrangements. There's nothing you can't do. Whether it's right or wrong, your master and mistress are behind you. They won't complain about you at all, Misty Rain said. Night Sorrow nodded. This was support, regardless of whether it was right or wrong. His days settled down. Every day, Yi Shang studied formations. His main body was constantly improving his realm. One day, Night Sorrow felt that he could go to the black-yellow Great World once to post a reward and Mingdao. As for being unfamiliar with the place, it didn't matter. Qing Emperor and Tang Jianfeng were sworn friends. He had a good chat with Tang Bo and Tang Xian. It was no big deal for them to help him post a reward. With this idea in mind, Night Sorrow told Summer City that he was going to the black-yellow Great World. I'll go with you. Your Highness can't go alone. Let Xian Daozi guard the 9-story tower, Summer City said. Okay. Night Sorrow nodded and sent Fei Xiu to call Xian Daozi. Your Highness shouldn't go out at this time, but His Majesty's injury must be treated as soon as possible. That's it. If anything happens, send a message back. If something happens at home, I'll crush your Highness's messaging crystal, Xian Daozi said. Then Night Sorrow and Summer City set off directly. After arriving at Samsara City, they left the Samsara Great World through a transmission. Not long after Night Sorrow and Summer City left, Ling Tian of the Celestial Sect got the news. He was very concerned about Night Sorrow's movements. The celestial sect had influence in Samsara City, so they naturally knew about Night Sorrow's appearance. However, Ling Tian didn't find out where Night Sorrow had gone. Samsara City wasn't a place where the celestial sect could do whatever they wanted. Since he couldn't be sure, Ling Tian sent someone to guard the transmission formation. In addition, he sent spies to continue to sneak into the Qing Emperor's dynasty to investigate. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Night Sorrow and Summer City arrived at the black-yellow Great World through the transmission formation. The two worlds were very far away, but the transmission formation between them was of a higher level than the one Night Sorrow used in Chiye City. When they arrived at the black-yellow Great World, Night Sorrow felt a different aura. After tasting it, Night Sorrow felt that if the Samsara Great World was full of fighting spirit and biting cold aura, then the black-yellow Great World was full of tolerance and weight. They were two completely different artistic conceptions. Night Sorrow knew that it was because of the different primary attribute. However, he didn't know what the primary attribute of the Samsara Great World was, let alone the black-yellow Great World. After feeling it for a while, Night Sorrow and Summer City walked toward the governor's mansion of the black-yellow Great World. It took them an hour to arrive. Mainly because they were observing the situation of the black-yellow Great World while walking, so they didn't rush to fly. When they arrived at the gate of the governor's mansion, Night Sorrow hesitated. Should he meet Tang Boheo, who was more congenial with him? Or should he meet Tang Jianfeng directly? "What's wrong, Your Highness?" Seeing Night Sorrow standing still in front of the gate of the governor's mansion, Summer City asked. "Governor Tang and my master are sworn friends. Since I'm here, I should pay him a visit. But he's a giant. Isn't it inappropriate to disturb him directly? If I asked to see Tang Bo, Tang Yi, and the others, it would be rude." Yi Shang voiced his concerns. "Your Highness is right. It's not good to meet them rashly. But if you don't, it'll be impolite." Summer City didn't know how to choose. Just then, a woman came in from outside. It was Tang Yi. "Night Sorrow, you've arrived at the black-yellow Great World. Why don't you come in?" Tang Yi was a little surprised to see Night Sorrow. "I'm hesitating. I think it's a little abrupt to meet Governor Tang. It'll be impolite if I don't pay him a visit." Night Sorrow directly told her his thoughts. "My father has nothing to do recently. He's not in closed-door training. He's in the governor's mansion. I'll take you in." After saying that, Tang Yi led the way in front. The distribution of forces in the black-yellow Great World was very complicated. At present, the most influential person was Tang Jianfeng, the governor of the black-yellow Great World. In the main hall of the governor's mansion, Night Sorrow saw Tang Jianfeng. Chapter 1302. "You brat, I thought you would be able to stand at the door for a long time." Tang Jianfeng greeted. What was his cultivation level? He knew as soon as Night Sorrow came over. Night Sorrow greets City Lord Tang. Night Sorrow bowed. "You're welcome. I've heard about what happened to your master. The celestial sect is very despicable. Now they're relying on their predecessors. Otherwise, they're nothing," Tang Jianfeng said with disdain in his eyes. "It's my fault as a disciple. I've brought trouble to my master. So, no matter what the price is, I'll help my master recover," Night Sorrow said. "I can understand your feelings. I've also looked into the ancient records and know what is needed. I can't do anything about the White Tiger's blood. Ming Dao has already issued a reward, but there is no news at the moment," Tang Jianfeng said. "Actually, I'm here for this." "Thank you, City Lord Tang." Night Sorrow bowed deeply again to express his gratitude. "You don't need to be polite or grateful. When you're older, you'll understand how difficult it is to have an old friend in life. I'm not stingy with what I can do for your master," Tang Jianfeng said. Night Sorrow nodded. He was touched by the brotherhood. "That's enough. You're too restrained here. Tang, take him to your two brothers. Yi Shang, you stay here for a while. Don't think about anything," said Tang Jianfeng. "City Lord Tang, as long as there's news about Ming Dao, please inform me. I'll pay for it no matter what the price is. I'll give you whatever you want, Night Sorrow said. Tang Jianfeng nodded. He was happy for his old friend because it was not easy to have such a disciple. Then Tang Yi took Night Sorrow to her mansion and arranged a courtyard for Night Sorrow. Then she went to inform her two brothers. Uncle Xia, now it's up to fate. In the Shenwu Great World, Master's wife has already arranged for people to buy the Mingdao. The Xuanhuan Great World has also done the same. Whether we can get it or not depends on fate, said Night Sorrow. Yes. Summer City nodded. He knew that everyone had done everything they could for Qing Emperor. Qing Lin and Qing Luan mentioned going to the constellation White Tiger territory. However, they were stopped by Misty Rain. They did not have the ability to fight beyond their level. Entering the White Tiger territory, there was no possibility of obtaining White Tiger blood. Let alone a monarch-ranked White Tiger, even a high-level king-ranked White Tiger could kill them. The White Tiger race was a divine beast. They were naturally gifted and possessed the ultimate skill, Western White Tiger kill. It was easy and simple for them to fight and kill opponents of a higher level. What the Qing Emperor needed now was monarch-ranked White Tiger blood. Qing Lin and Qing Luan did not have this ability. Not to mention relying on numbers were meaningless. White tigers were fast, and numbers were useless. This was one of the reasons why the Qing Emperor's dynasty had not made any moves. Misty Rain had said that if Sandalwood had not entered the Heaven Master realm, there would be a chance. However, once she entered the Heaven Master realm, it was impossible. If a Heaven Master dared to enter the Constellation realm, the White Tiger King would sense it and immediately appear to kill them. Besides, the Constellation realm's world origin did not allow Heaven Masters to enter. This was a protection for the world's creatures. While Night Sorrow and Summer City were talking, Tang Yi brought Tang Bo and Tang Xian over. You bastard, you didn't even shout when you came. You could have just told any city guard in the city and they would have brought you to my mansion, Tang Xian shouted after arriving. I just got here. I didn't have time to visit you. Sorry, said Night Sorrow apologetically. It's nothing. Let's go. We'll set up a table in the best restaurant, Tang Xian said with a smile. You're the host. Since you're here, we'll eat and drink. Where's brother Tang Jun? Asked Night Sorrow. L+new_most. Hurry up. My cousin is different from us. We don't have anything to do. He leads the army and is not usually in the Xianhuang city. Last time, it was my father who took us out to see the world, Tang Bo explained. Understood. Let's go. I haven't tasted the wine of the Xianhuang Great World. I must drink. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood that everyone's character was different. Tang Bo, Tang Xian, and Tang Yi were all carefree people who did not want to be bound. Even the children of the city lord did not serve as officials of the Xianhuang city. Tang Jun cultivated his Dao by fighting, so he had been leading the army. After arriving at the restaurant, Tang Bo ordered a table full of dishes and the best wine. They drank and chatted. As Tang Bo asked, Night Sorrow told him the purpose of this trip. Brother Yi, don't worry about this. We'll help you. Ming Dao has appeared and said that he will replace you. We can't guarantee anything because we don't know the price. We can only say that we'll inform you as soon as we have any news, said Tang Bo. Our elders are brothers. Although we don't know them well, we can try. I hope we can be like our elders in the future, said Tang Xian. Night Sorrow stood up and raised his glass to them. I don't know what to say. It's a bit fake to say that we're brothers. But for now, we're friends. We can be brothers. That's the truth. Let's stop talking and drink, said Tang. Then, Tang Xian told Night Sorrow another piece of news. The Heaven and Earth Pavilion in the Xianhuang city would open in 2 years. Night Sorrow could come and try. Night Sorrow was a bit confused because he didn't know what was going on. Your reincarnation world has the Reincarnation Palace. The Xianhuang Great World has the most famous Heaven and Earth Pavilion. The Heaven and Earth Pavilion can't help with cultivation, but it will open every 3 million years. It's a journey of opportunity, a time to compete with strength and luck, said Tang Xian. Then, Tang Bo explained to Night Sorrow. There were countless spaces in the Heaven and Earth Pavilion. There were 99 of them in total. If one could reach the last space, there would be an unexpected reward. It was said that someone had entered the last space but failed the test. He saw the heavenly god artifact but didn't get it. If there's a chance, I'll have to participate. I'm not from the Xianhuang Great World. Am I qualified? Asked Night Sorrow. It seems that qualification has nothing to do with strength. It's hard to say. It's the same several times. Those who want to go will be tested by the Xianhuang light. But I don't know what the test is. I'm confused every time. Tang Xian explained to Night Sorrow. Just after being shrouded by the Xianhuang light, you won't know anything. If you're qualified, you're qualified. If you're not, you can't enter the heaven and earth pavilion. Setting. This is too miraculous, Yishan said with some astonishment. Just some monarchs aren't qualified, but Saint Kings might have a chance. As for how it's judged, I'm not sure. The Heaven and Earth Pavilion has existed since the Xianhuang Great World was formed. The interior can be considered a space or an alternate space world, said Tang Bo. Is there a way? Night Sorrow murmured in a low voice. Here's the second update. There will be 10 updates today. I've said before that I'll stop giving out rewards and updates. But I can't get over it. I feel like I'm letting down my brothers if I don't add updates. Shizi can't do anything shameful. Today's 10 updates are a reward for the Great Demon King's support. Also, with the support of 4 Vigor Pills, I'll also explode. But I might take a break in between before continuing. Chapter 1303. I don't know. The Pavilion of Heaven and Earth is the most magical treasure and place in the black-yellow Great World. It's like a miniature of the boundless universe. I don't know the details, but if you have strength and luck, you can gain a lot. But it's very dangerous, Tengi said. It was dangerous because the Pavilion of Heaven and Earth could only be entered by the original body. Only the original body could enter. In addition, the opening time was different every time. Only the Pavilion of Heaven and Earth could decide when to open and close. In addition, death was death. There was no chance of reincarnation. Both the soul and the energy of the body would become nourishment for the Pavilion of Heaven and Earth. That's scary. They don't even give us a chance of reincarnation, Summer City said. The cost is proportional to the gain. If you want to gain something without taking risks, it's not in line with the natural law, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. That's what my father said. But there are many opportunities inside. There are many treasures that can strengthen one's genuine chi and soul, as well as materials for refining elixirs and weapons. My father's current status is inseparable from the Pavilion of Heaven and Earth. You know about the glazed golden core, right? Tang Xian looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Yes, I know. I'm an alchemist. Night Sorrow nodded. The glazed golden elixir is an elixir that can only protect one's body temporarily. My father got the glazed fruit and cultivated the glazed golden body with it. That's why he was so strong in combat and became the city lord of the Xianhuang city. Some people have other gains, such as the master of the Wuling Mountain. He is so powerful that no one can defeat him in a head-on fight. Tang Xian gave Night Sorrow 2 examples. I see. Thank you, Brother Tang. I'll be there when the time comes, Night Sorrow said. Yi Shang did not need any more resources. He had everything he needed, weapons, armor, and elixirs. However, the Azure Supreme the Arch was lacking. The Azure Supreme the Arch lacked the Tao. Other than that, if there were other natural treasures, they might be of help. Alright, I'll go to Samsara World to look for you when the time comes. Then we'll go in together, Tang Bo said. After finishing the wine, they returned to Tang Yi's residence. Tang Bo and Tang Xian also stayed in Tang Yi's residence, but they were both resting. Looking at the bright moon rising in the middle of the night, Night Sorrow fell into deep thought. What is your highness thinking about? Summer City asked. The Heaven and Earth Pavilion is sentient. It has the final say in opening and closing. In other words, there are too many unknowns, Night Sorrow said. It's like this. In addition, I can tell your highness that the Pavilion of Heaven and Earth is open to the public. However, other than the people of the great world of Samsara, Other cultivators are not willing to enter. Although they have great attraction, they are worried that they will be treated unfairly. The pavilion of heaven and earth is an opportunity, but it also requires nurturing and development. Who would be willing to be nurtured? Summer City knew about the heaven and earth pavilion. He had been cultivating for a long time, so he naturally knew about some things. I have to go. When it's time to fight, I have to fight. Night Sorrow made up his mind. Summer City knew that Night Sorrow was fighting for the Qing Emperor. In order to find the right path for the Qing Emperor, he had to fight. The pavilion of heaven and earth existed at the beginning of the Black-Yellow Great World. How many heaven masters are there in the Black-Yellow Great World now? There should be some in the 100 space worlds of the pavilion of heaven and earth. Therefore, Your Highness, you have to think twice, Summer City said after thinking for a while. I understand. Let's talk about this later. Night Sorrow naturally understood the danger. Maybe we will find the right path in 2 years, Summer City said. He knew that if there was a right path, Night Sorrow would not have to take this risk. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow smiled and went to the tea table to make a pot of tea. Uncle Summer, what we are most worried about is the unfairness. However, I don't think it will happen. The origin of a great world should have the boldness that a great world origin should have. The possibility is very low. Even if the possibility is low, who can be sure that it won't happen? If there are some uncontrollable dangers, it will be troublesome, Summer City said. Some time ago, my state of mind was low, which affected the improvement of my cultivation. The reason for the low state of mind is that I lack sharpness and the courage to fight with all my might. As long as I live, I will not stop fighting. This is what I have said before. Night Sorrow handed Summer City a cup of tea and said. Summer City did not say anything else because Night Sorrow had made his attitude clear. After staying in the bound of heaven for half a month, Night Sorrow decided to go back. He had achieved his goal and the right path was there. Tang Xian and the others, who knew the situation in the Qing Emperor's dynasty, did not force him to stay. Night Sorrow arrived at the world of transmigration through the teleportation formation. As soon as Night Sorrow stepped out of the teleportation formation, he saw many people eyeing him covetously. Summer City touched the saber at his waist and snorted coldly. Then he and Night Sorrow stepped into the teleportation formation. These spies were all king, but they were no match for Night Sorrow and Summer City, so they did not dare to make a move. They could only watch Night Sorrow and Summer City swagger away. After returning to the Qing Emperor's city, Night Sorrow found that everything was stable. Your Highness, there are still spies. Summer City found a suspicious person. We don't need to worry about them. Let the Qing Emperor's guards clean them up later. They will be obedient after a few rounds, Night Sorrow said. The overall situation was stable. Night Sorrow did not care about the small things. The Celestial Sect did not dare to fight head-on. They could even launch sneak attacks. After returning to the Jiuchong building, Night Sorrow told Misty Rain what had happened this time, but he did not mention going to the Heaven and Earth Pavilion. Then, Night Sorrow went to visit the Qing Emperor. Summer City did not follow him. Night Sorrow asked Summer City to take the secret guards later and cooperate with the Qing Emperor's guards to clean up the Qing Emperor's city. After Night Sorrow left, Summer City hesitated for a moment and then told Misty Rain about the Heaven and Earth Pavilion. Ming Dao is already on the wanted list. The Heaven and Earth Pavilion may not have it. Summer City is worried that Your Highness will be ostracized and treated unfairly because he is not a member of the Black-Yellow Great World Group. Sister-in-law, please persuade him. Summer City said. Misty Rain thought for a moment and said, it's useless to persuade him. His Majesty's matter is a knot in Night Sorrow's heart. Let's see what his situation is like in 2 years. If it doesn't work, we can find something for him to do and stagger the time. Summer City said, it's not that Summer City has a good attitude. Summer City thinks that Your Highness will definitely solve this matter in 10,000 years. There's no need to take such a big risk. If Your Highness dies, Your Highness's future will be ruined. Misty Rain nodded. She understood Summer City's idea. Summer City was worried about the Qing Emperor, but she did not want to see something happen to Night Sorrow. After thinking for a while, Misty Rain's eyes became a bit misty. The Heaven and Earth Pavilion is the manifestation of the origin of the black-yellow Great World. The internal space world is strange and changeable. It was formed by reference to the Great Thousand World. It can be said that it's a miniature of the Great Thousand World. It's not so easy to wander around. Night Sorrow's current state of mind is too stubborn to consider so much. Chapter 1304. Wink with a frown, please go to $, then let's do as you say. Let's see what happens in the next 2 years. Summer City didn't have any good ideas now. After accompanying Qing Emperor for a while, Night Sorrow returned to 9-story building. He realized that he was a little silly. The death obliteration/clone could be cultivated. Night Sorrow wanted to cultivate the death obliteration/ with the Underworld Stone as the core. With the Underworld Stone, he could use it. If the Underworld Stone was on him, he could use it. If the Underworld Stone was on him, he could use it. If it was on his clone, the clone could use it. Once the clone was cultivated, the main body could use the Underworld Stone whenever he needed it. The Underworld Stone wasn't a one-time use treasure. As soon as he thought of it, Night Sorrow went to the 9-layer building's secret cultivation room and began to refine the Yellow Spring Stone to recognize him as its master. The Underworld Stone was a spiritual treasure produced in the Underworld River. The death energy was very strong. Night Sorrow's process wasn't very smooth. The death energy rebound was very strong. Fortunately, Night Sorrow's soul power was of the Supreme Void attribute and could suppress the death energy. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to get it to recognize him as its master. The Underworld Stone wasn't big, but it contained extremely concentrated death energy. If the energy exploded, it would destroy the world. Night Sorrow used an entire month to refine the Underworld Stone. It was very difficult. Night Sorrow's face was pale and his soul power was greatly exhausted. Night Sorrow came out of the secret cultivation room. When he was getting some fresh air, Misty Rain saw him. Night Sorrow, what's wrong with you? Your soul power is damaged and you can't hide the death energy in your body. Didn't you hide your true body? Mistress, I'm cultivating another absolute art. It's just the beginning and I haven't figured it out yet. I just need to recover. There are almost all the books I want to read. It's much more stable than the average website. The updates are faster and there are no advertisements. Night Sorrow said, "Be careful. There is no one else who can reach your level as a high-level king," Misty Rain said. Night Sorrow smiled. He was very happy. Being able to refine the Yellow Spring Stone was a great gain. As for the consumption, it was not a big deal. He just needed to recover. After resting for 5 days, Night Sorrow recovered to his peak state. Next, he began practicing the Great Death Annihilation / Night Sorrow naturally wouldn't hide from anyone and run to a secluded place to cultivate. He was in the small training field behind the 9-story building, constantly studying and deducing the cultivation of the Great Death Shattering / Naturally, this scene could not be hidden from Misty Rain. After observing for a while, Misty Rain left 9-Chong building and went to 7-Night City. "Why do you look so pale?" Qing Emperor looked at his wife and asked. Night Sorrow is cultivating Datura's Great Death Annihilation / How can this be? How can he have the secret cultivation technique of the Great Death Annihilation / Misty Rain felt extremely uneasy. "You're anxious just because of this?" Qing Emperor poured a cup of tea for Misty Rain and said with a smile, "You're not anxious? Your disciple is cultivating someone else's secret technique. If Datura didn't take out the secret technique, how could Night Sorrow have cultivated it?" Misty Rain stared at Qing Emperor and said, "I know. It must have been given by Datura. Qing Emperor nodded. "Then why aren't you anxious? Datura taught your disciple a secret technique. Aren't you going to ask him about it?" Misty Rain was a bit agitated because Night Sorrow was the pillar of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. If he was taken away by someone else, it would be a fatal blow to the Qing Emperor's dynasty. There are some things you don't know. Datura taught Night Sorrow his secret technique. They are engaged, Qing Emperor said. What? They are engaged? Qing Shangjuan, are you kidding? Misty Rain's eyes were wide open. I'm not kidding. They are engaged. Night Sorrow will go to the Dark Abyss to propose marriage when he reaches the monarch stage. Not many people know about this, so I didn't tell you. You should keep it to yourself. Also, be generous and trust your child more, Qing Emperor said to his wife. You are very calm. I like this kid, so I was worried that Datura would take him away. I just didn't expect this. Misty Rain was still emotional. You still don't know Night Sorrow well. When he first came to the Qing Emperor's dynasty, he didn't know me, so I gave him some advice. Then, I announced that I wanted to take him as my disciple. What did he mean? He said that if I was willing to take him in as a disciple, he hoped to receive my guidance, not yours, Emperor Qing said. He remembered everything that had happened back then very clearly. I'm not as generous as you are, but I won't mistrust him like this in the future. It's not that I don't trust him. I'm just anxious, Misty Rain explained. If Night Sorrow can master the Great Death / with the Great Emperor Samsara / I taught him, he will be able to fight well. Take it slow. He will grow. Besides, Datura is very generous. He didn't fight with us for Night Sorrow, and he didn't make things difficult for Night Sorrow either. That's a favor, Qing Emperor said. Original version equals Shangjun, I'm sorry. Are you angry that I wasn't with you all these years? Misty Rain asked. She was touched when she heard about Night Sorrow and Datura. I'm not angry. I'm just worried. It's good that you're back, Qing Emperor said. Everyone is impulsive sometimes. I wasn't calm enough back then, Misty Rain said apologetically. It's all in the past. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back, Qing Emperor said with a smile. It's good that you call it good? Look at you now. However, you've taken in 2 good disciples. Sandalwood will be able to take charge in the future. Night Sorrow is more determined. He went to the Xuanhuan Great World some time ago and offered a reward for you. He was even willing to take out the skeleton of the mysterious Ice Unicorn Tiger King. However, I didn't agree because it would be a big deal. It wouldn't be good even if there was a reward. It could easily lead to bad consequences, Misty Rain said. This kid is a little too excited. If possible, he would be willing to give up everything he has. As for the skeleton of the ice dragon, it's not that he doesn't want to give it up. It's because he's friends with the ice dragons. He's worried that the skeleton of the ice dragon would be used as a material and be desecrated, Qing Emperor said. He knew Night Sorrow very well. He's now eyeing the Pavilion of Heaven and Earth. The Pavilion of Heaven and Earth will open in 2 years. If he wants to go, we'll find a reason to arrange something for him and make him miss the opening. As for your injury, I'll think of a way. I really can't bear to let a kid risk his life, Misty Rain said. You make the arrangements. I've lived for so many years and have experienced life and death. I've already seen through life and death. I can't drag a kid down with me. However, you've really changed. You're not as willful as before, Qing Emperor said. After being trapped in the alternate space for so many years, I've thought through everything. I was too willful back then. By the way, there's something I don't understand. Who is Datura? He's not only powerful but he's also very arrogant. Why would he be engaged to Night Sorrow? I'm not saying that Night Sorrow isn't good enough. He's just too young. The 2 of them shouldn't have crossed paths, Misty Rain said. Chapter 1305. Some things can't be explained clearly. It's fate. I think the 2 of them are very suitable for each other. Although Datura is willful and overbearing, there are things that she shouldn't do. Not to mention Night Sorrow, he's very tolerant. They are indeed very suitable for each other, Qing Emperor said with a smile. The 2 of them are involved, and no one would believe me if I told them about the engagement. They are 2 people who shouldn't have crossed paths in the first place. Heavenly Monarch Yufei sat down and calmed down a bit. We are husband and wife, so let's not hide it. You know what it means to have a supreme attribute. Night Sorrow has a supreme attribute. I support him because we are master and disciple. If Datura knows about it, does she have a choice? She can either kill him or support him. If she supports him, how can she maintain the relationship? It's impossible for them to be master and disciple because Night Sorrow doesn't want to be master and disciple. So, on the basis that they are kindred spirits, an engagement is the best way, Qing Emperor said. I understand. I heard from Summer City that Zhang Taiyang came to catch Night Sorrow once. You are worried that he knows something, so you want to kill him at all costs, right? Misty Rain said. You know me well. I don't want to provoke the Celestial Sect, but Zhang Taiyang must die. Even if he ran to the Celestial Sect, he was destined to die from the moment he set his eyes on Night Sorrow. Qing Emperor nodded. I understand. You are master and disciple. We are husband and wife. I also drank tea from his wife. We will be on the same side in the future, Misty Rain said. You can come back in time and have such a change. Isn't it fate? Qing Emperor exhaled and sighed with emotion. Night Sorrow was in the martial arts arena of the 9 grand floors. Sometimes he would wield the space splitter. Sometimes he would lower his head and ponder. This was because he had to constantly perfect the cultivation of the Great Death Obliteration / Cultivation techniques and absolute arts were not something that could be mastered just because one had a secret cultivation technique. They had to be constantly revised. Night Sorrow's deathly annihilation / grew increasingly powerful as he continued to cultivate himself. As he brandished Space Splitter, a black halo of light rippled outwards. That was the area affected by the deathly annihilation / Enveloped by the black halo of light, the target's soul power and space-time around them would be affected. Take shape. After cultivating for 7 days, Night Sorrow managed to form the Great Death Obliteration / However, it was only a form. If he wanted to cultivate it to maturity, it would take some time. In addition, Night Sorrow discovered that the Underworld Stone was a rare treasure. After the death energy was exhausted, it could quickly absorb the energy of heaven and earth to recover. Night Sorrow understood that it was not easy for Datura to get the Underworld Stone. She could also use it herself. Night Sorrow would chat with Datura when he had time. However, he did so behind the scenes. He did not want to be ostentatious or cause any criticism. Datura was very appreciative of Night Sorrow's cultivation results. This was because she knew how difficult it was to cultivate the Great Death Obliteration / The days of cultivation passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed. Night Sorrow had completely mastered the Great Death Obliteration / At this time, he had 2 absolute arts. In addition, after accelerated cultivation under the care of the Samsara Palace, his will of nothingness had reached the peak of the 7-star king. His will of time and space had also reached the late stage of the 6-star king. His strength had increased by leaps and bounds. Sandalwood also came out of seclusion. He had cultivated in the time-accelerated treasure for 5 years. After stabilizing his realm, he had successfully cultivated the leakless true body and refined a drop of soul cultivation fluid. He was anxious because the situation was not stable. He used his will to force the soul cultivation fluid to absorb it. It took him a lot of effort to refine a drop. Absorbing it at high intensity and speed was his limit. Night Sorrow was very happy when Sandalwood came out of seclusion. He held a banquet for him. The banquet was held in the small lakeside house of 7 Night City. Master, it was my incompetence that caused you to be severely injured. I will take revenge for this. Sandalwood looked at Qing Emperor and said, It's nothing. Qing Emperor smiled and shook his head. He was very happy to see his 2 disciples. See it for free forever. Q. After a few more days, I will go and take Ling Tian's dog life. Sandalwood's eyes were filled with killing intent. There's no rush. You're a little impatient. You should discuss this with your junior brother. Qing Emperor said, Mistress, I'm very sorry. I didn't take good care of Master when you weren't around. Sandalwood bowed to Misty Rain. You're still the same. No matter how unhappy Mistress is, you're always respectful. Mistress drank your junior brother's tea, but she didn't drink yours. Misty Rain said, Sandalwood was stunned. He looked at Night Sorrow and said, "Junior brother, my tea can't be drunk. Help me brew a pot." Night Sorrow nodded. He brewed a pot of tea and lit an incense. Sandalwood knelt on one knee. He held the tea in front of Misty Rain and said, "Mistress, please have some tea." Taking the tea, Mistress of Flying Rain looked at Sandalwood and said, "Mistress has been prejudiced against you for countless years. She has made things difficult for you and made things difficult for you. Mistress of Flying Rain feels bad for you. Mistress of Flying Rain, drink this cup of tea and let go of the knot in your heart. Everything is over." After speaking, Heavenly Lord Yufei drank the tea and helped Sandalwood up. "Mistress, you're thinking too much. Master adopted me. In my heart, Master is my father. Mistress is my family. I don't mind scolding you." Sandalwood shook his head. After the banquet, Sandalwood showed up at Qing Emperor's imperial court. She defeated martial god Shi Yang, who was stationed in the world of reincarnation. Only then did she go into seclusion for the second time. This was a big deal. Blood Emperor Sandalwood fought against Celestial Sect's Heaven Master Puppet for the first time. She defeated martial god Shi Yang for the second time. Everyone knew her name even if they didn't want to. Everyone knew that as time passed, Sandalwood would become stronger and stronger. Although the top powers still surrounded the East District of the world of reincarnation, no one dared to act rashly. The Qing Emperor's imperial court was too strong. This was because something had happened to the Qing Emperor. If nothing had happened to the Qing Emperor, the Qing Emperor's imperial court would be invincible in the world of reincarnation. The situation was stable. Night Sorrow cultivated hard. He still remembered the time. The Heaven and Earth Pavilion opened. A year had passed and there were no clues about the Clear Tao. Night Sorrow knew that no one had the Clear Tao. He had to fight for it and find it. There were many rare treasures in the Heaven and Earth Pavilion. Therefore, Night Sorrow placed his hopes in the Heaven and Earth Pavilion. The Heaven and Earth Pavilion was dangerous. Strength was important. Night Sorrow's original body cultivated and comprehended realms. His doppelganger cultivated battle techniques, studied arrays and created array discs. What made Night Sorrow happy was that the 9 Regions world had completed its evolution. It had evolved into a high-level world. Its surface area had expanded without anyone noticing. Its borders and boundaries had expanded infinitely. Now, its surface area was no smaller than the Heaven Mystic world. However, under Night Sorrow's influence, the layout of the 9 Regions world did not change much. It was only the outer boundaries that expanded infinitely. Chapter 1306. Underscore, it has almost all the books you want to read. It's much more stable than ordinary websites. It updates faster and has no advertisements. The world and the sector lord complemented each other. When the 9 Regions world became a high-level world, the 9 Regions origin became stronger. It could help Night Sorrow's soul cultivation increase at any time. The 9 Regions world origin bead was with the doppelganger, so it couldn't help the original body improve the soul power. Night Sorrow's original body had no choice but to communicate with the Samsara Palace and apologize. "It's okay. It's within the rules. Just let me know if you need anything." The origin of the Samsara Palace was not impatient. After receiving the 9 Regions world origin bead from the doppelganger, Night Sorrow's original body started to cultivate again. Cultivators were divided into chi refinement and body refinement, but they were actually divided into 2 parts. One was the soul, and the other was the body. With the replenishment of energy from the 9 Regions world origin bead, Night Sorrow's soul cultivation increased at a terrifying speed. Night Sorrow's doppelganger returned to the 9 Layers building and started to study the formation plate because it was a way to protect himself. When he was tired from cultivation, Night Sorrow sometimes went home. Sometimes, he went to Datura to see Datura in the dark abyss. Datura felt that it was inconvenient to meet in the Dragon Bone Palace, so he built a small courtyard not far from the dark abyss. When Night Sorrow went there, they met and talked in the small courtyard. Datura also knew that Night Sorrow was going to the Heaven and Earth Pavilion. I don't know if other people will be discriminated against or plotted against when they go to the Heaven and Earth Pavilion, but I don't think any life of the way of heaven will deliberately set you up. You have a body of merit, so the consequences of setting you up are very serious. The Heaven and Earth Pavilion is the manifestation of the origin of the black-yellow great world. Advertisement. Datura was a life of the way of heaven, so he knew more than ordinary people. That's fine. I'm not afraid with my ability, Night Sorrow said. No matter what, I will support you. Datura nodded. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded. He knew that this was Datura. Although she was a woman, she did things with a heroic spirit that ordinary men did not have. Usually, when she was beside him, she was gentle like water. They were two extremes. After staying for half a day, Night Sorrow left. He was now the core of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. There were still some things that he had to deal with. After returning to the 9 stories building, Night Sorrow saw that the core members of the God-slaying team were all present. Why do you have time to see me? Night Sorrow asked, puzzled. 13th brother, we plan to join the 9 Heavens army and fight alongside the army. Tianyu said. At this time, Tianyu's face was full of heroic spirit. After many years of cultivation and settling down, he was no longer the naive youth who had just taken human form. Why do you have such thoughts? Yi Mei, do you think so too? Night Sorrow asked. 13th brother, this is not the idea of just Tianyu and I. It is the idea of all the members of the team. The weakest member of the God-slaying team is a high-level saint, and the strongest is not far from comprehending will. So, merit points are especially needed. In addition, we also need to use actual combat to train ourselves, Yi Mei said. Captain, this is the decision of all of us, Hou Jian said. That's fine. I'll talk to New Lin later. You guys will join the New Lin army and form a team. Night Sorrow nodded in agreement. Captain, the cultivation of the members of the God-slaying team has increased rapidly. I can no longer be the vice-captain. Today, I came to ask if I can join the 9 Heavens army. The other reason is that I want to take over the vice-captain position, Xueling said. It seems that the God-slaying team has changed a lot during the time I haven't asked about you. Tell me about it. Yi Shan nodded. Xueling then told Xueling his thoughts. He planned to retire and let Long Jin take over as the captain. Long Jin went out with you, but he didn't join the God-slaying team, right? Night Sorrow asked. We've discussed and invited Long Jin to join the God-slaying team. Long Jin has been a member for a long time, Xueling said. I don't want to be the vice-captain. I just want to train with all of you and fight with my brothers. I don't mean anything else. Long Jin was puzzled because he didn't know about this. You're now a 2-star king. In the absence of the captain, you can lead your brothers better. In the God-slaying team, the vice-captain is not a leader. He just leads everyone well. Now, you can do that, Xueling said. Yes, the vice-captain exists to take care of his brothers. I can't do it now either. I'll let Yun Huang or Liang Yu take over. They're both peak Saint Kings. I'm still a bit lacking. They and Long Jin can lead the God-slaying team better, Hou Jian said. What a big change. We'll hold a banquet at the training ground tonight. I haven't drunk with everyone in a long time. I'll also solve some problems. Manager He, please make the arrangements, Night Sorrow said to Hichio. After Long Jin and the others left, Night Sorrow took out his alchemy cauldron and started making pills. He hadn't prepared resources for the God-slaying team for a while. Commander, they're the elites of the 9 regions world. After they rose, they became the backbone of the 9 regions world, Jun Xuanji said. Previous #BF, they're all my brothers. They have an unyielding fighting spirit in their hearts. What's limiting their achievements might be their talent, but it's not their beliefs or willpower. I'll buy the materials for the spirit accumulation pill and the spirit perception pill. If my brothers work hard, I'll help them, Night Sorrow said. Jun Xuanji nodded. Others might not know, but she knew the relationship between Night Sorrow and the God-slaying team. Back in the 9 regions world, the god-slaying team had followed Night Sorrow to conquer the world. In the evening, a few large tables were set up at the training ground for a banquet. When Night Sorrow arrived, all the members of the god-slaying team stood up. Those who were outside had also returned, including Qin Jin, Guan Yi, and Ren Tianji. Ren Tianji had also joined later. Brothers, I'm sorry. I haven't asked about the god-slaying team during this time. I'm not a qualified captain, but I won't resign. I'll be responsible for all of you to the end because we'll be brothers for life, Night Sorrow said to the group. What responded to Night Sorrow was the sound of someone knocking on their chest armor. The original vice-captains, Xueling and Hou Jian, no longer want to be vice-captains. I won't force them because they're under pressure. They don't dare to be careless when leading their brothers. It's really tiring. In the future, the god-slaying team will have 3 vice-captains. Long Jin, Liang Yu, and Yun Huang. The 3 of you will lead everyone to explore the world. Nan Liyue, this is a resource. The usage of the pills inside is very clear. As long as anyone needs it, just give it out. Sovereign King, your goal is to become a sovereign king. What I, Yishang, can do is to help you walk on the path of becoming a sovereign king. Yishang gave Nan Liyue a storage ring and said. The members of the god-slaying team bowed to Night Sorrow. Liang Yu, Yun Huang, the 2 of you have good talent. It's just that you haven't cultivated for long. If you work hard, the path of the king is right in front of you, Night Sorrow said to Liang Yu and Yun Huang. Chapter 1307. Liang Yu and Yun Huang nodded. The 2 of them had worked very hard these past few years. Coupled with their good talent, they had already surpassed the older generation of the 9 regions world and reached the peak of the Saint King realm. The only ones they could not compare to were Tian Yu and Yi Mei. There was a difference in talent. Of course, the members of the god-slaying team put in several times more effort than ordinary cultivators. They cultivated in the pagoda of time and space, then went out to fight and stabilize their cultivation. Then they came back and cultivated again. It was a cycle of high intensity. The members of the god-slaying team also knew that their current achievements mostly came from Night Sorrow's support, the pagoda of time and space, and the unlimited supply of resources. Others didn't have such conditions. Hard work came second when they had conditions. It's been a long time since I drank with my brothers. It's not that I've forgotten everyone, and it's not that I'm king and don't want to drink with everyone. There's just too many things. These years, one thing after another has happened. I can't stop it all, Night Sorrow explained. Brother 13, we all understand you. All these years, we worked hard to cultivate. Part of it was for our personal achievements, but most of it was because we wanted to share some of your burdens. We can still kill enemies together, Tianyu said. I understand. Right now, my original body is cultivating in the Samsara Palace in the world of Samsara. I need the pagoda of time and space to speed up. When I can give it to everyone, I'll take it out, Night Sorrow explained. 13, you're the pillar of the 9 regions world. Your achievements will determine the status of the 9 regions world. So, you have to take care of yourself first, Guan Yi said to Night Sorrow. Senior brother, are you used to the dark abyss? Night Sorrow asked. Used to it? You can ask the Qinjin. In terms of status, we are respected, but during training it's torture, Guan Yi said with a bitter smile. An old man looked at the 2 of us and gave us a big leather whip. If we didn't do well, he would give us a big leather whip. However, after we cultivated, we were treated very well. The commander of the army we stayed in was very polite to us, Qinjin said with a smile. That's for your own good. It's difficult for others to have this opportunity. Whether you 2 want to stay there or come back, it's up to you, Night Sorrow said with a smile. He understood that this was all arranged by Datura. First message while drinking, Night Sorrow was very happy. Because of his good mood, Lei Bao, Lei Jing, and Hou Jian were all drunk by Night Sorrow. Dizzy from drinking, Night Sorrow staggered back to the 9 grand floors to rest. Night Sorrow went to rest, but there were still people in the hall of the 9 grand floors. Misty Rain was talking to her children, And Summer City was there as well. Imperial Mother, Junior Marshal Brother doesn't look like a proper person. What His Highness? He's drunk so much, Qing Wan said with a smile. He's actually still young. It's good for him to relax sometimes, it's good for him to settle down, Misty Rain said. It's not like that. Those 40 or so people are His Highness brothers. When His Highness was still a venerable, they followed His Highness to conquer the profound mysteries realm and the nether realm. They all made great contributions. In His Highness' heart, he hopes that these brothers can achieve great things. Today he saw that these people are doing well, so he's happy, said Xia Cheng. This is true temperament. It's rare and precious. However, it's good to have a group of brothers who can drink whenever they want. Misty Rain said with a smile. Sister-in-law, actually, Summer City admires His Highness the most. With so many brothers and countless battles, no one has fallen. This is very difficult, Summer City said. I have to admire this. When Junior Marshal Brother led the army, the casualties were the least. He crippled more than 10 troops of the Dark Army and destroyed 2 troops of the Red Emperor's empire. All our losses added up to only 1 army, which is less than 1/10 of the enemy's. This is also the biggest reason why Junior Marshal Brother is respected in the Qing Emperor's empire. Qing Wan nodded. Learn from him. Although you might not be able to do so well, at least have the heart to improve, Misty Rain said to her daughter. Imperial Mother has changed too. She didn't scold us in the past, Qing Wan said to Misty Rain. If you don't listen, then scold. There's no harm in learning from your eldest Senior Marshal Brother and little Junior Marshal Brother, Misty Rain said. After sleeping for a while, Knight Sorrow woke up early. Then he cultivated in the martial arts practice field and cultivated his ultimate skills. As the original body-soul power in the space-time treasure pagoda increased, the power of Knight Sorrow's ultimate skills increased again. The strength of a high-level cultivator was largely dependent on their soul power. Why was the Divine Knight Monarch the overlord of the 9 Firmament World Group? Why did Datura's strength soar after using the soul cultivation liquid? It was because he refined the soul cultivation liquid and increased his soul power. With a strong soul power, the power of many battle skills would increase. The 9-domain world's origin emitted energy that could increase soul power for Knight Sorrow to cultivate. Naturally, Knight Sorrow's soul power increased rapidly. Monarch strength, Misty Rain said as she watched Knight Sorrow cultivate. Even if he doesn't use his ultimate skills, his normal attacks are at my level, Qing Wan, who had been by Misty Rain's side all this time, said. Yes. If he reaches the Star King realm, he will be invincible below the Sky Master level. When he is at the Monarch realm, he will have hope to fight against the Sky Master level giants. However, that will depend on his own ultimate skills. The power of his trump card determines the strength of his combat power. Your father is very good at recruiting disciples. Sandalwood is invincible among those at the same level. This guy can fight above his level. Very good. Misty Rain nodded. She was now thinking whether she should stop Knight Sorrow from going to the Heaven and Earth Pavilion. After cultivating for a while, Knight Sorrow made tea. After brewing it, before Knight Sorrow could bring it over, Misty Rain and Qing Wan came over. Mistress, Senior Marshal Sister, sit. Heart-cleansing tea, it's not bad, Knight Sorrow said. Heart-cleansing tea is not bad. There are many famous teas in the Qing Emperor's dynasty, but it's not as good as yours, Qing Wan said. Actually, I still have some good teas. However, it's only good when I use it with cultivation, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Better than heart-cleansing tea? Don't joke around. Qing Wan looked at Knight Sorrow and said, Soul-nurturing tea can nourish the soul. Senior Marshal Sister, don't you think it's the best tea? Knight Sorrow said, Soul-nurturing tea? Is it related to the soul-nurturing liquid? Qing Wan looked at Knight Sorrow and asked in surprise. Yes, it's related to the soul-nurturing liquid. The difference is that the soul-nurturing liquid can only be used by monarchs, but the soul-nurturing tea can be drunk by anyone. Therefore, I'm drinking the tea to cultivate now. I'll leave some for Mistress and Senior Marshal Sister, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Sigh, you rascal. If you didn't have a few virtuous wives who are as beautiful as jade, even I would want to give Qing Yuan to you, heavenly monarch Yu Fei said. Mistress, you're joking, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Have Qing Yuan as his wife? Night Sorrow felt that it was torture. Chapter 1308. Qing Yuan was very outstanding. She was beautiful, had a good figure, and had a good temperament, but her personality was a bit strange. Night Sorrow even thought that whoever married Qing Yuan in the future would be unlucky and would be tortured to death. Either she had a bad temper, or she would be sick of people. It would be very uncomfortable. It was not worth it to be tortured in life just for a moment of happiness. What kind of eyes are you looking at? You don't like me, but I don't like you. Qing Yuan glared at Night Sorrow. Haha. Night Sorrow could only laugh. He could not say that he liked her, nor could he say that he did not like her. Night Sorrow, to tell you the truth, your master and I do not agree with you going because it is too dangerous, so don't be too tired from training. In 10,000 years, do you think we can't solve your master's problem? We definitely can. Misty Rain said. When I was young, I was separated from my parents and lived in Bamboo Garden Village. I was a hunter and relied on my father Gugu for survival. However, my father Gugu told me that one must be responsible for everything. Later on, when I embarked on the journey of cultivation, I understood another principle. Being responsible for everything is a character, and at the same time, it is also one's nature. Only by doing this can one's heart be flawless. On the matter of master, I feel guilty in my heart. Although I have lived for a short time, I have never done anything that I cannot face. Therefore, I can face everything, face myself, and face my heart. Night Sorrow did not refute Misty Rain's words, but only spoke of his own philosophy. Misty Rain looked at Night Sorrow and did not know how to refute. Junior brother, we can solve the matter of Father Emperor. It is not in the short term. Qing Yuan said. On this matter, senior sister Qing Yuan and senior brother Qing Lin did not blame me, but I can't live with myself. When I do things, as long as there is a chance, I do not want to give up. This way, I will never regret it. I will never regret it because of my own hesitation and missing out on something. Master's wife, senior sister, you all drink tea. I will go and train. Night Sorrow carried Lai Kong and went to the martial arts practice field. What kind of stubbornness is this? Qing Yuan muttered. This is not stubbornness. Qing Yuan is right. This is character and quality. In fact, the deepest feeling I've had these days is to understand some quality and spirit. What your junior brother has is what many people lack. I don't know how to deal with this matter. Misty Rain sighed and said. After that, Misty Rain told Qing Yuan what Qing Emperor felt from Yi Qingyan and Yujun. Imperial Father is right. Because of our high birth status, we have become dependent. Mother, I will work hard in the future. When Qing Yuan heard Misty Rain's words, she felt a little embarrassed. Every day, Night Sorrow would study the absolute arts. He would alternate between the two absolute arts without conflicting with each other. As his soul power increased, the Great Emperor Samsara / and Great Death Annihilation / became more and more powerful. However, as time passed, the opening of the Heaven and Earth Pavilion was getting closer and closer. Night Sorrow was also very confident. Although the will of nothingness hadn't evolved, the will of time and space had improved by leaps and bounds. It had entered the 7-star King Realm and entered the High King Realm. This had allowed Night Sorrow's battle strength to increase once again. If cultivating the body made Night Sorrow's strength tyrannical, and cultivating the chi of nothingness made his chi tyrannical, then the advancement of the will of time and space increased his speed. In a battle, speed was one of the most important factors to victory. It was also a life-saving method. Misty Rain also noticed Night Sorrow's improvement and immediately felt that the heavens were fair. The harder one worked, the luckier one would be. This was very suitable for Night Sorrow. After finishing another cultivation, Night Sorrow went to Misty Rain and said, Mistress, my strength has improved again. Can you not stop me? Misty Rain said, Mistress, I don't know what to say. If it's just a clone, then it's fine. But going to the Heaven and Earth Pavilion requires the original body. My original body and clone will go together. If we have to fight, then we'll cut off all means of retreat. Night Sorrow's determination was very strong. In fact, even without this restriction, he would have made this decision. This was because he had two skills. His original body and clone could use different skills at the same time. His original body could use the Death Destruction / and his clone could use the Great Emperor Reincarnation / When the two skills attacked together, the power and lethality were shocking. Night Sorrow felt that whether it was his original body or his clone, they both had the power to fight against an overlord. If they used the two skills at the same time, there was a chance they could kill an overlord. Okay, then let's gamble. This is Mistress's protective treasure. Mistress will remove the ownership. Take it. Overlord Yufei took out a shield that was shining with green light. No need. My original body and clone both have protective treasures. Master also helped me make the 9 heavy armor. I don't lack anything. Night Sorrow quickly rejected. Do you really have it? You don't have to be so polite with Mistress. Overlord Yufei looked at Night Sorrow and said, My clone has the Dragon Cauldron. My original body also uses a defensive treasure, the Time Pagoda. Night Sorrow waved his arm and the Dragon Cauldron appeared behind him. Seeing that Night Sorrow had a protective treasure, Overlord Yufei nodded and didn't say anything else. She couldn't stop Night Sorrow's belief. Night Sorrow had done everything he could. Feeling that it was about time, Night Sorrow's original body stopped cultivating and greeted Samsara Palace. You have a lot of room for improvement now. You haven't reached a bottleneck, have you? The origin of Samsara Palace appeared. It was a kind elder. I also want to continue cultivating, but there are some things that I have to do. This is my responsibility. As long as Night Sorrow is alive, I will definitely do what I promised you. Night Sorrow said, Young man, tell me what you have to do. Actually, according to your strength, you will have the capital to settle down when you cultivate to the monarch realm. With the supreme attribute and strong soul power, the world's most powerful giants can't hurt you. The weapon spirit of Samsara Palace, or rather, the origin of Samsara world, said, I want to go to the Heaven and Earth Pavilion. I want to see if there is a Tao in the 100 worlds of Heaven and Earth Pavilion. Night Sorrow told the origin of Samsara world the reason. Heaven and Earth Pavilion. That is the root of Xianhuang world. It is very complicated. You will be in great danger if you go there. Do you know why this Heaven and Earth Pavilion opens every once in a while? The origin of Samsara world looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Forever, free of charge. Night Sorrow shook his head. He really didn't know about these things. Kill some and cultivate some. This is the way the origin of Xianhuang world does things. People from other worlds don't dare to go there because it will really destroy them and arrange difficulties that are hard to resist. However, you won't have a big problem. You have the body of merit, so it should have a laissez-faire attitude towards you. It won't target you. However, you have to remember that because you have the body of merit and supreme attribute, it may have a request for you. You don't have to agree because it won't directly touch you. The origin of Samsara world said, Request. Senior, this can't be. There are a lot of giants in Xianhuang world. What would it ask of me? Night Sorrow said, You don't understand. You are too young and have little experience. It's not that you have little experience. It's just that there are some things that people don't know. The body of merit is very important. Go. Strive to be the best. The origin of Samsara world said. Chapter 1309. It's my responsibility this time. I'll come back to cultivate after I'm done, Night Sorrow said. This is the power of the origin. If the origin of Heaven and Earth Pavilion really turns against you, you'll definitely die. This power of the origin can protect your original soul. In this way, you'll have a chance to reincarnate or rebuild your body. The origin of reincarnation waved its hand, and a power of the origin entered Night Sorrow's body. Thank you, Senior. Then I'll leave some flesh and blood. Because my cultivation method is special, my body is indestructible. As long as I have the power of the soul, I can rebuild my body. Night Sorrow waved his hand and cut off one of his arms. Then the energy in his body exploded, and another arm grew out. Good. In this way, as long as your soul isn't destroyed, you'll never have to worry about dying. The origin of reincarnation sent out energy to wrap Night Sorrow's arm and hide it in the void. Senior, I'll leave now. I still have some time in the reincarnation palace. I'll come back to cultivate later, Night Sorrow said. Okay, this place is open to you at any time. But you have to fight for your own cultivation time. When you stand in front of the reincarnation palace and shout out how much you want, others have to give it to you. That's what you're capable of. The origin of reincarnation palace nodded. Then Night Sorrow left the reincarnation palace and took back the reincarnation token. Time accelerated by 2 years, which was equivalent to 40 years of cultivation. 3 times the consumption meant 120 years. Night Sorrow's original 600 years of cultivation time in the reincarnation palace still had 480 years left. After leaving the reincarnation palace, Night Sorrow walked toward the teleportation formation. Before he reached the teleportation formation, Night Sorrow was surrounded by people from the celestial sect. 6 or 7 of them were high-level king realm cultivators. The people of the celestial sect started killing without a second word. This was because Ling Tian had given his disciples an order to kill Yi Shang on sight. Night Sorrow kept attacking with the Void Extreme Kill, Emperor Reincarnation / and Soul Destruction /. In just a moment, these King Realm cultivators were killed by Night Sorrow. After collecting their storage rings and weapons, Yi Shang went to the transmission formation. Although there were other people from the celestial sect, Yi Shang had already gone to the transmission formation. At this time, the guards of the Samsara Palace had already unsheathed their sabers. Whoever fought in the transmission formation would be killed. The inter-realm transmission formation could not be damaged. Looking at Yi Shang's true body, Heavenly Monarch Yufei said, "The energy contained in your true body is close to that of a monarch. I cultivate my body. My original body is stronger than my clone." Night Sorrow nodded. Then, Night Sorrow took out the Samsara. He wanted to upgrade the Samsara. Although it was a King Realm weapon, there was still a lot of room for improvement. In 4 days, Night Sorrow completed the upgrade of the Samsara and made it a top King Realm weapon. After getting used to the effect of the Samsara, Night Sorrow felt that it was enough. Then, Night Sorrow decided to go home and spend some time with his family. After resting for a month, Night Sorrow returned to the 9 floors. He planned to go out because the Heaven and Earth Pavilion was about to open. Before Night Sorrow left, Tang Bo arrived. He came to inform Night Sorrow that the Heaven and Earth Pavilion would open in half a month. Night Sorrow decided to leave. "Night Sorrow, can't you not go?" Misty Rain asked. "Don't worry, mistress. There won't be any problems. I have some backup plans," Night Sorrow said. "All right then, let's go. Safety is the most important thing. Remember, we have time. It doesn't matter if we don't get it," Misty Rain said. Then, Night Sorrow left and teleported to the world of Samsara with Tang Bo. This time, Night Sorrow didn't bring anyone with him. He didn't bring Summer City or Ice Chilin. Tang Bo brought his guards. When the people of the Celestial Sect saw Night Sorrow, they didn't do anything because Tang Bo's guards were monarchs. Vian and Night Sorrow and the others teleported from Samsara City to Xianhuang City through the teleportation formation. At this time, Xianhuang City was very lively because a grand event of the Xianhuang Great World was about to take place. The top forces of the Xianhuang Great World all sent people to participate. A large number of cultivators from the surrounding worlds also came. Night Sorrow went to Tang Bo's mansion. Tang Bo and the others also wanted to participate because they also wanted to fight. For the people of the Xianhuang Great World, entering the Pavilion of Heaven and Earth was an opportunity. Although there was a possibility of death, they still had to fight. All the cultivators had this opportunity. Tang Yi and Tang Bo went, but Tang Xian didn't because he was a monarch. There was no need for him to fight. However, even if acquaintances went in, they couldn't form a team in the pavilion of heaven and earth. After entering, they would be swept away by the energy of the pavilion of heaven and earth. It was hard to say which world they would enter or where they would land. Space magic treasures couldn't carry lives. Even the origin of samsara could detect it. That was to say, entering the pavilion of heaven and earth depended on one's own ability. For Night Sorrow, this was his favorite mode. Most of the time, he flew alone. It was more casual and he didn't have to worry about anything. There was no information to check in the pavilion of heaven and earth, nor any experience to learn from. Every time someone went in, it was different. It was full of unknowns and challenges. Night Sorrow didn't feel afraid. Instead, he felt excited. Night Sorrow wanted to fight. He had a backup plan. Even if something happened to his original body, he wouldn't be doomed eternally. His soul wouldn't die and return to the world of samsara. He could rely on that arm to regenerate his body. It just needed some time. Tang Bo and Tang Yi were a little uneasy. Night Sorrow, aren't you worried? Tang Yi looked at Night Sorrow and asked, "Why should I be worried? Since I've decided to go, I'll face it calmly. The result is the same whether I'm worried or not," Night Sorrow said. After resting for a few days, Night Sorrow and the other two set out. The pavilion of heaven and earth was located in the south of Xinhuang City. After flying for a while, the three of them arrived at the pavilion of heaven and earth. The pavilion of heaven and earth was a pavilion with dozens of floors. The upper half of it was in the clouds. It had an aura that suppressed everything. It was magnificent and majestic. Normally, the pavilion of heaven and earth is a very small pavilion, but no one can get close to it. It only becomes like this when it's open, Tang Yi explained. At this time, Tang Jianfeng appeared in front of the pavilion of heaven and earth and announced some rules. He was allowed to use all kinds of magic treasures. He was allowed to bring his doppelganger with him, but the doppelganger would be killed if he went alone. Even if he hid his cultivation, he would be killed. This was an iron rule that forbade heaven masters from entering. Brother Yi, take care. After we go in, no one knows what will happen. We can only protect ourselves first. With so many people going in, we might run into each other. If we don't have any friendship with each other, we'll be enemies, Tang Yi said. The same goes for you too. If you think you can't do it, you can hide in the space treasure and wait until the opening time is over, Night Sorrow said. Same for Brother Yi. Tang Yi nodded. Night Sorrow shook his head. He was different. He had a reason to fight. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.